Come in. Welcome. I'm E.G. Marshall. My tale is about murder, that crime of crimes. Shakespeare said, "Murder, though it have no tongue, speaks with most miraculous organ." And indeed, in this case, the murderer unwittingly convicts himself by saying too much. It is a story with surprising twists and turns, with double crosses on double crosses. Listen to a man being set up to murder.
She's dying. Slowly. 10 years, the doctor said. Do you expect me to hang around in the background all that time, waiting for her to die? I'm not going to wait, Bill.
Adrian, darling, listen to me.
It's a simple decision you have to make, Bill.
We'll be penniless. I'll have nothing.
Not if she dies while you're still married to her. Not if she dies knowing nothing about me. Not if she dies before she can change her will.
Our mystery drama, Turnabout is Foul Play, was written especially for the Mystery Theater by Sidney Sloan and stars Mason Adams and Vicky Vola. The car pulled into the parking lot of the seedy motel, which bore the name Ritz Manor, Rooms and Meals, Reasonable Rates. Seated at the wheel of the modest car, obviously a rental, is a handsome, well-dressed man in his middle 30s. At his side is an equally attractive woman whose appearance and manner would make her stand out in any company. The man parks the car in front of Cabana Numero 4, as it is called on the sign posted over the door. He gets out and opens the car door for the woman.
This flea bag again.
It's safe. They know me here. They don't ask questions.
Oh, good Lord, it's stifling in here. Turn on the air conditioning.
Okay. It'll be cool in a few minutes. Should be some ice in the fridge. Do you want a drink?
Thanks. I'll take it without adulteration.
There you are.
Thanks, darling. He's looking at you. Well, that's better. Much better.
I hope it improves your mood. You've been in a miserable state from the moment I picked you up.
Do you blame me, Bill?
Oh, come on, Adrian.
Meeting in little out-of-the-way restaurants, going to cheap motels, hiding on side streets, scared stiff we might be seen together.
It won't be forever.
How long is forever? We've known each other for 2 years.
No, not now. Not again. Are we going to rehash that old business?
No rehash, Bill. We're going to decide what we must do. We can't put it off any longer.
Divorce is out. Anne wouldn't stand for it.
She can't keep you tied to her if you don't want to stay.
Oh, yes, she can. It's all her money. All of it. I don't have a dime unless she gives it to me.
Well, there's an answer to that, too.
What?
She's not well. You're her husband. You'll get it all when she dies.
Well, if you mean waiting...
You told me yourself that the doctor said...
Dr. Richardson said she wouldn't recover, but he also said that it was the kind of illness that could go on and on. She could live another 10 years.
Why?
Why? It's the nature of her illness.
I'm not talking about her illness. There are other ways.
You're not actually suggesting...
I'll give it to you cold and clear. 1, you're married to her. You love me. 2, she's ill, dying.
But...
Now, hear me out. She's dying, slowly. 10 years, you said. Do you expect me to hang around for 10 years? I won't wait, Bill.
Adrian, darling, listen to me.
It's a simple decision you have to make. Adrian or Anne?
We'll be penniless. I'll have nothing.
Not if she dies while you're still married. Not if she dies knowing nothing about me.
Now, Mrs. Sputtling, I want you to relax completely. I want you to be receptive to my words.
Yes, Doctor.
But it is not my words which will cure you. You must cure yourself.
Oh, but Dr. Lupescu, Dr.
My
Richardson
dear
said
lady,
that...
I said I would not treat your case unless you gave me your full confidence. Has this Dr. Richardson held out any hope for you?
No. He's been very honest with me. He told me that my time was limited.
There, you see? Words like that can be destructive. They are negative and have no place in my work. You must think and feel positive. You are to get well.
Yes, Doctor.
Have you sent this Dr. Richardson away?
Oh, that would be rather difficult.
Why?
Well, Dr. Richardson's been an old friend for many years. He'd be hurt.
My dear lady, it is obvious that I have little influence on you. And if that is the case, I cannot do you any good. So, madam, I bid you goodbye. I shall not return.
Oh, no, please. Oh, please don't go. You give me hope. I'll do anything you ask.
You will obey me completely?
Yes.
Very well. I shall continue. If, however, I feel that you have the slightest doubt, I shall terminate our relationship immediately. There will be no second chance.
I understand. And I agree.
Very well. Now, I am going to put you to sleep. A gentle sleep. A healing sleep. Now, lean back. Relax. Relax completely. There, that is better. Now, concentrate on my eyes. Look deep into them. Deep. The world is receding. You can feel nothing. You can see nothing but my eyes. Now sleep. 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 Mrs. Sperling, you are asleep, but you can hear my voice. You will obey my commands. Answer me.
I will obey your commands.
You will awaken in a moment or two, and you will feel better than you have felt for a long time.
Yes.
I am going to give you a post-hypnotic suggestion. You will, after I have been gone an hour, ask for the telephone. It will be brought to your bedside. You will call your attorney, Harold Gifford, and you will ask him to come here next Wednesday at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. All you will say to him on the phone is that you wish to change your will. I'll tell you Wednesday morning how you will change your will.
Hello.
Bill?
Yeah.
This is Harold, Bill. I wake you?
No, I've been up for hours. What's the good word, Harold? Are you breaking our golf date?
No, nothing like that. Mind if I ask you a personal question?
Oh, go ahead. You're our lawyer, aren't you?
I am also your friend. Bill,
Yeah.
how are you and Ann getting along?
How are we What's a funny question? Fine, I guess.
Anything happened recently? A quarrel? Serious misunderstanding? Another woman?
No quarrel, no misunderstanding. Ann loves me. I take the fifth on the last question about another woman. Anyway, Ann doesn't know about it. What goes?
Forget it. Sorry I woke
Now,
you.
wait a minute. You can't ask me all sorts of personal questions and then hang up without telling me why you're asking them. Has Ann been talking to you?
Legal ethics, Bill. Can't answer that.
Then she has been talking to you.
Bill.
About us, that is.
I'm her lawyer, Bill. I
Hey, to
can't.
hell with your legal ethics. You were my friend before you were our lawyer.
I'm ringing off, Bill.
Does she want a divorce?
Wouldn't she have told you if she did?
She's changing her will, that's it. She's changing her will. Harold, that's it, isn't it? That's what you've been trying to tell me.
I haven't been trying to tell you anything, Bill.
Okay, Counselor. Thanks anyway. I'm going to have a talk with her.
Leave my name out of it. And by the way, double-check that new doctor of hers, Lupescu.
Lupescu, huh? Sure, I'll check him out. And thanks again.
You have spoken with your attorney, Mrs. Sperling?
I have spoken with him, Doctor. The will is being changed in accordance with your instructions.
Good. Now, when I clap my hands, you will awaken, refreshed, and in excellent spirits. There, Mrs. Sperling. How are you feeling?
Wonderful. Oh, I feel so relaxed.
I told you that you would.
Come in.
I'm not disturbing anything, am I?
No, darling. I want you to meet Dr. Lupescu. Doctor, this is my husband.
I do. Anne, dear, whatever happened to Dr. Richardson?
Nothing, Bill. But Dr. Lupescu's been able to help me.
When old Dr. Richardson couldn't.
Mr. Sperling, my services to your wife can be terminated with a word.
Well, here's the word. Send me your charges, Dr. Lupescu, or perhaps you'd like a check right now.
Bill, you don't know what you're saying. Dr. Lupescu's very necessary to my health. He's done more for me in a short time.
Please, madam. Please, do not defend me. I will leave you to settle this matter between you.
But you will come back, Doctor.
What? You'd ask him to come back
Please,
after...
Mr. Sperling, consider the state of your wife's health before you make irrevocable statements.
Well, if you would kindly leave, I'd be able to speak to my wife about the state of her health.
Good day.
Oh, Bill, what have you done?
And listen to me. He calls himself doctor. Whether he is or not is a matter for conjecture.
You don't know anything against him? And without knowing, with just your suspicions, you rush in here, you insult them.
And listen to me.
No, I'm not going to listen to you. You don't have my welfare at heart.
He's turning you against me. That I do know.
What? What are you saying?
What was Harold Gifford doing here yesterday?
What? Why do you ask?
He was here, wasn't he?
Yes, he dropped in to see how I was feeling. It was just a friendly call. Harold's an old friend.
He's also our lawyer.
Yes?
Did you call him and ask him to come here, or did he just drop in, as you say?
I don't understand, Bill. What's all this got to do with us? With Dr. Lupescu?
A great deal. I don't know what part, if any, that phony doctor has in this, but did you, and I want you to answer this honestly, did you tell Harold that you wanted to change your will?
No.
That's the truth?
Did Harold tell you that I did?
No, he couldn't. Confidential matter between attorney and client.
Well, then why are you so worked up? Did you think I was cutting you out?
I don't know what I thought.
Because it isn't true. I love you, Bill. I haven't been much of a wife to you since I came down with this thing.
And let's not talk about it.
No, we must. There's no point in pretending that I'm going to get well. I'm not. And after I go, everything I have will be yours, Bill. I want it to be that way. Because I love you.
Penny for your thoughts, Bill.
What?
You've been so preoccupied.
I'm sorry, Adrian.
Something bothering you?
Yeah, plenty.
Do you want to tell me?
My wife is changing her will.
What? How do you know?
I know. Gifford called me. He's our lawyer. I'm being cut out.
Completely?
Oh. A few crumbs might be left for me. I don't expect it'll be much.
Okay. What's the next move?
I've spoken to her. She denies everything.
Can you believe her?
I want to, but there's this new Dr. Lupescu. He seems to exert a very strong and a sinister influence.
Listen, Bill. And listen carefully. She hasn't much longer.
No, Adrian. Adrian, you're urging me to kill her, aren't you? You're telling me to commit murder.
No, Bill. Not murder.
What?
An act of mercy. She's sick. A lingering illness. Wouldn't it be more humane to shorten her agony, her pain, the wait for death?
Adrian, please.
Okay. Let's consider it selfishly. I love you, and you love me. She stands between us. She's legally your wife. Divorce is impossible.
No, it's not impossible. We just wouldn't have the money. I'd stop being a parasite and I'd get myself a job.
A job? Don't make me laugh. At what? You've never done a thing in your life but play tennis, golf, or backgammon.
So all you loved about me was the money I would get.
No, Bill. But the money was one of the considerations. With the money out of the picture, it doesn't quite balance. Now let's stop fighting each other and start doing something constructive about it. What do you say, darling?
Yeah.
Let's go over the road again. Anne is dying. To help her is an act of mercy.
Bill Sperling is being forced to make an important decision. To paraphrase an old expression, some men are born murderers, some achieve murder, and some have murder thrust upon them. I'll be back shortly with Act 2. The die is cast. The game is set. A woman is to be murdered so that her husband and his friend can live happily ever after on her money. As yet, the marked woman is unaware of the fate in store for her. She calls her attorney and asks him to come to her bedside.
You seemed very disturbed when you called me, Anne, but you were very evasive when I asked you what was bothering you.
Well, I couldn't speak freely. The doctor was with me at the time.
I want to talk to you about that doctor.
Well, I won't listen to anything against him, Harold.
Look, Anne, I'm not speaking as your attorney. I'm speaking as your friend. Lepescu is...
Dr. Lepescu.
Okay, Dr. Lepescu. Anne, he worries me.
Why?
He's only been your physician for a short time.
2 months.
That's a very short time, don't you think, for you to be placing so much confidence in him?
The way you hesitated. I know you were thinking of something else when you said confidence.
Well, yes, I was. That guy may be after your money.
Oh, Harold, I won't listen to this from you.
Well, damn it, Anne, you are changing your will in his favor.
Yes.
And you've denied it when Bill questioned you.
Have you?
Now, wait a minute. I've told him nothing, but he guessed what you had in mind.
Well, I can't control his guessing.
Why are you doing this, Anne?
Why? Because Dr. Lepescu has great work to accomplish in this world, and my useless money can be the beginning of a great medical research foundation.
Bunk.
What?
Unadulterated bunk.
Oh, I'd stop that right now. Look, I've known you, and I've liked you for many years.
Okay, I'm sorry. He's a great man. But what about Bill? Why are you cutting him off?
I'm going to set up a trust fund that will make...
I know. You told me, Anne. You're going to give him a handout, a modest little allowance.
Enough to meet his needs.
And no more.
Harold, I think I must ask you if you intend to carry out my wishes.
Sure. But I feel it my duty to...
Your duty is to me, your client, to obey my wishes.
If you're in your right mind, Anne.
I assure you, I know exactly what I'm doing.
Do you? Do you really?
Oh, Bill. Well, come in. I wasn't expecting you.
Were you asleep? It took you so long to answer.
No, I wasn't asleep. I thought we decided it wasn't a good idea for you to be seen here.
I had to talk to you. Look, it has to be done right away.
The sooner the better.
Gifford has got the will ready for her signature, and I found some scribbled handwritten notes of hers in the wastebasket. Guess how much she's going to leave me? $10,000 a year. I couldn't go 3 months on that.
Well, what's the plan?
Here, look at this. It's a suicide note.
To my dear husband. It isn't signed.
I'll get her to sign it. I'll slip it to her to sign along with a raft of other papers. I have to do this every month to take care of certain business and investment matters.
Okay, you'll get her signature. On a typewritten suicide note? How kosher do you think that's going to look?
Well, she uses her typewriter for almost all her correspondence.
Including suicide notes? If I were the police investigating...
I'll get her to sign it. I'll slip it to her to sign along with a raft of other papers. I have to do this every month to take care of certain business and investment matters.
Okay, you'll get her signature. On a typewritten suicide note? How kosher do you think that's going to look?
Well, she uses her typewriter for almost all her correspondence.
Including suicide notes? If I were the police investigating this, I'd be mighty suspicious.
Look, I can't force her to write the note. Can I?
No, I guess not.
No, if I'm questioned, I'll point to the fact that since she's been ill, she's written everything on the typewriter. It's on a special stand next to her bed.
Yeah? Well, what else?
What else is there?
A little matter of how it's to be done.
Oh, sleeping pills, an overdose. See, every night when I'm home, I bring her a warm glass of milk.
In the milk?
Yeah. And then I'll substitute a second milk glass and wash the first thoroughly.
The empty pill bottle?
On top of the suicide note.
When?
Tonight.
Yes?
It's me and Bill.
Oh, come in, Bill. Come in.
I thought you might be asleep, dear.
No such luck. You know the trouble I have getting to sleep. What a pleasant surprise. Oh, you brought me my milk.
Just like old times. The good old times. Remember?
Yeah, like old times. Henrietta's taken over your job. She's been bringing my bedtime milk.
Yeah, I told her she wouldn't be needed tonight.
Well, glad to see you back on the job.
Would you like to take it now while it's nice and warm?
I just set it down, dear. I'll drink it in a minute. I want to talk to you.
That reminds me. It's first of the month. All those papers to sign. I got them here in my briefcase.
In a minute. Let's talk.
No. Business first, then conversation. It'll only take a couple of seconds. Here you are, Ann. Only a few. Now sign right here.
Right.
And here.
Right.
Now here. And here.
Right.
Here, that was quick, wasn't it?
Now for our conversation.
Oh, wait. One more item to be disposed of first. The milk.
Oh, leave it there, Bill. I'll drink it. I don't like it too warm anyway.
But, Ann...
Don't fuss over me. Look, Bill, I've got something serious to tell you.
What?
Well, I've been speaking with Harold, and he tells me that I'm not being fair to you. When you asked me the other day whether I was changing my will, I lied to you. I don't know why I did, but something inside me made me lie.
I suspect it.
And even speaking to Harold yesterday, I was suddenly and unaccountably angry when he mentioned you and said that what I was planning wasn't quite fair to you.
Well, why are you telling me this now, Ann?
I don't know. But the restriction which kept me from telling you everything is suddenly gone.
Go on.
And I wanted to say that if you object to what I have in mind, I'll drop it completely, and I'll order Harold to destroy the new will. I haven't signed it yet.
Ann, you're too wonderful. You're too kind. I don't deserve your love.
Darling, I've never seen you like this.
Oh, I've been a rotten husband to you. But I'm going to change. You'll see, I'm going to change. I'm going to be with you every hour of the day. I'll never leave your side.
Darling.
I love you.
Bill. Darling. Oh, it's so good to have you back again. I know that you've strayed. When you took that apartment, I knew.
Ann, listen.
Don't explain. I don't want an explanation. I don't need them. You're back. That's good enough for me. Now it is getting late. It's long past my bedtime and time for my warm milk.
No, give that glass to me.
Darling, you've spilled it.
No, it's no good. It's cold. Let me get you another glass.
Don't bother. I'll sleep without it. Just kiss me goodnight. Oh, it's wonderful to have you back, my dear, my Bill. What? Hello?
Miss Bonner? Lopescu is here.
Send him away, Ann. Tell him to go away.
Oh, I can't do that, Bill. Ask Dr. Lopescu to come up, Henrietta.
Then I'm going.
Bill. But, Bill, you'll be back.
I don't know. Maybe I will, maybe not. Good night, Ann.
Yes?
Adrian, I just came from the house.
Yes?
I'm afraid that I was interrupted and then...
You didn't do it. You didn't? Answer me.
No, everything went as I planned and then...
Then you lost your nerve. You chickened out. All that money for us and you chickened out at the last minute.
No, look, Adrian, you don't understand. She said that she would tell Gifford to destroy the new will.
Destroy it? Are you sure?
Yes.
Has she signed it yet?
No, she told me she hadn't signed it.
Can you believe her?
I believe her.
But you said you were interrupted. By whom?
By Dr. Lopescu. But I had already decided that I couldn't go through with it.
You hadn't given her the milk?
Well, she tried to take it and drink it, and I grabbed the glass. It spilled, but this was before Lopescu got there. And when he came, I left.
How long ago did this happen?
I don't know, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. I stopped at the first phone I saw to call you.
You could go back. You could go back now.
No, I couldn't go back. I don't know how I could have thought I could kill her in the first place.
No. I guess I was asking too much of you.
Look, I want to see you.
No.
We've got to talk.
It's over. It's all over, lover boy.
Coming. Oh, Harold, come on in.
Been trying to reach you for the last 3 days. Where have you been?
On my boat. I just got back to the apartment 20 minutes ago.
Alone? Alone on the boat?
Yeah. I just didn't want to see anybody, talk to anybody.
Or listen to the radio?
Just the weather reports.
I see. Well, it's going to look very bad.
What is?
You're being gone this time.
What does my being away for 3 days have to do with anything?
Everybody's been looking for you. Anne is...
What? Anne? Oh, good Lord. Anne.
Look, you don't have to put on a performance for me, Bill.
Performance?
Everybody knows that your marriage to Anne was anything but perfection.
I loved her. That night when I saw her, I realized for the first time in years how much I loved her. I made up my mind that I'd cut out all the nonsense and try to make her last few years a little happier.
How did you leave her?
Well, the party was a little messed up. I was with her just as she was going to sleep. Henrietta knocked and said that Dr. Lopescu was downstairs, and Anne told her to send him up, and that angered me, and I left.
That's about what Henrietta told the police.
The police?
Yes. It seems that Anne died from an overdose of sleeping pills.
Sleeping pills?
They were given to her in her warm milk, which she always takes before going to sleep. Henrietta says that you insisted on taking the milk up to her.
But she didn't. I mean, I accidentally spilled. I brought her the milk, but she didn't drink it. It spilled.
You'll have to see the police, Bill. I suggest that you do it right away.
You think that I killed her, don't you?
Better try squaring this with the police, Bill. You're wasting your time on me.
After Harold Gifford left, Bill stared into space, unable to comprehend the events which had swirled around him and now threatened to overwhelm him completely. Anne's death was difficult enough for him to accept, but now he must face the police and their questions with the knowledge that despite his innocence, he must appear guilty to them. I'll be back shortly with Act 3. Bill Sperling's life had taken on all the aspects of a nightmare. It is true that he had planned to murder his wife, but at the last minute, he found that he could not do it. Imagine his bewilderment when he hears that his wife has been murdered, and in exactly the manner he had contrived. The finger points in only one direction, his.
Hello?
Adrian,
Yes.
I've got to see you.
No, it's over. Thought we settled all that.
It's terribly important. Anne is
Strange the way you said that.
strange.
She's been since last Wednesday night. I heard it on the late news. You act as if you just found out.
I have. I've been away on my boat.
What? Another story? You putting me on, Billy boy?
I didn't do it. I'm telling you the truth. I swear I didn't know.
Ah, that's very good. What are you going to do, plead loss of memory?
I told you, Adrian, I didn't do it. You know I didn't do it.
Trying to set me up for an alibi? Well, I don't want any part of it. Please don't call me again. I won't be involved.
You can be made to talk. You can be made to testify.
Sure. You go right ahead and bring me into court. I'll say you planned it. Milk, sleeping pills, phony suicide note, the whole dirty wash.
Adrian, you can't.
Try me. I'd advise you to leave my name out of it. Bye.
Hello. 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 Oh, now, come on. Who is that? Yes?
Mr. Sperling? William Sperling?
Yeah.
Sergeant Joseph Marchetti, homicide. Can I come in?
Yeah, sure. Come on in.
Thanks. Mind if I come right to the point, Mr. Sperling?
Please do.
Your wife was murdered, Mr. Sperling, and you were a prime suspect.
That's purely conjecture, Mr.
Sergeant.
Sergeant.
Mr. Sperling, Sergeant Marchetti.
Okay, Sergeant. Are you charging me with my wife's murder?
Would you like to hear what I've been able to find out while you were missing for 3 days?
I can explain my absence.
You'll get plenty of chance to do that. But listen to me first, huh? A guy goes to see his wife. Then he gives her a glass of warm milk.
I can
Wait till I finish. A glass of milk has a lot of sleeping tablets melted in it. Enough to knock off a healthy woman. But Mrs. Sperling is a sick woman. Very weak. She goes very fast in spite of all that Dr. Lepescu, he got there a few minutes after she drank the milk, could do to help her.
You said murder a moment ago. Isn't it possible that my wife, being in poor health, committed suicide?
I'm glad you brought that up, Mr. Sperling. There was a suicide note.
Well?
We found it later.
Yes.
It was addressed to you. Typewritten.
All my wife's correspondence for the last couple of years was done on the typewriter. She had it next to her bed.
Okay, so she typed the note. But it's the signature that bothers me.
You can easily determine whether or not it's genuine.
Oh, we had a handwriting expert look at it.
And?
It's her signature, all right. No doubt about that. Only one thing.
What?
Why should she start off by addressing the letter to my dear husband and then end up by signing it real formal, Anne Sperling? Can you explain that, Mr. Sperling?
Harold,
I don't want to see you, Bill.
you've got to help me.
No, find another attorney. I'm too busy.
You're condemning me without listening to me. You could give me a few minutes. I'm an old friend, Harold. 5 minutes.
I'll give you 5 minutes. Start talking.
Okay. Now, look. I must tell you that when I came into Anne's room that night, I did so with the intention of killing her.
It's going to be a tough job selling that story to a jury, Bill. Changed your mind at the last minute, eh?
It's the God's honest truth.
Maybe it is. But they're going to think, if he didn't do it, who did?
Lepescu. He came in right after I left.
Why should he?
He was going to get all our money.
You're forgetting one very important thing, Bill. The will had not yet been signed by Anne. The only one to gain by her death would be you at that time.
Yeah, why should he do it? All he had to do was wait. I don't get it. I mean, he knew that Anne hadn't signed the will. If he killed her, he wouldn't get a dime. Why should he do it?
Bill, that's it. He kills Anne, but there's no motive. He's in the clear. And you're sunk.
Yeah, but Harold...
You come to trial. You're convicted. Life imprisonment.
Yeah, but he still doesn't get the
yes,
money.
He can get it. He sues to have the will overturned. The intent of the new will, even if not signed, is for him to get the money. Any lawyer worth his salt could win this case. They'd call me for a witness, subpoena all the papers I've prepared.
Harold, you're right. He kills her to make it look like I did it to stop her from signing.
Smart. Very smart. But now that we know, we may be able to trap him.
Wait a minute. I just thought of something else. Was it just coincidence that he came to see Anne that night?
Doctor seeing his patient?
So late? Tell me, do you think it possible that he knew I was going to be there? That he came so that he would be taking no chances that I'd lose my nerve?
Who would know that you were going to be there?
I don't know. Maybe. Anyway, what about Lepescu?
Here, I've got his number in my book. Let's see. Here, I have it. Bill, get on the other phone, quick. Dr. Lepescu? This is Harold Gifford calling.
Oh, yes. The late Mrs. Spurley's attorney. Yes. What can I do for you?
Doctor, you may not be aware of the fact that Mrs. Spurling has left you the major portion of her estate.
No. Really? Well, this comes as a complete surprise. Are you certain?
I have the papers right in front of me. Now, there's only one little hitch.
Hitch? What is it, hitch?
Trouble. It seems that Mr. Spurling intends to take the matter to court to have the will thrown out.
Thrown out? He can do that?
Oh, I don't think so. Everything is perfectly legal. However, he can claim undue influence, pressure, etc., etc.
One moment. Mrs. Spurling had signed the will?
Oh, yes.
That is not what she told me.
What? I thought that you said...
No, well, you see, doctors are privy to confidences, and Mrs. Spurling...
Hadn't actually told you about changing the will, right?
Well, I would say, yes. However...
She had not told you that she had signed the new will.
No. As a matter of fact, I was trying to dissuade her from making me the beneficiary.
Well, you can refuse to accept it, you know. That would make Mr. Spurling's suit unnecessary.
And he would get it?
Oh, yes, he would very likely get everything. As a matter of fact, I understand the police have a witness who can completely exonerate Mr. Spurling.
Oh, what is her name?
I don't know her name, Doctor. But I suppose it is one of those false leads thrown out by the police to trap the real killer, wouldn't you say? Wouldn't you say, Doctor? Doctor?
Yes, of course.
One more thing. There are certain little legal formalities. I must have your signature on several documents, and...
I can be in your offices at 3 tomorrow.
3 o'clock will be fine. Goodbye. Bill, I think we've knocked him off base. He's got an accomplice.
And it suddenly occurs to me that I know her name.
Hello?
Adrian?
Bill, I told you not to
Don't
call.
hang up, please. Now, look, I've got to see you.
No, that's impossible. I just heard on the news that you'd been arrested.
I'm out on bail. I'm coming over.
No, if you come here...
Coming. Didn't you plan this thing with me?
Bill, you leave me out of this. I warn you, it'll do you no good to involve me.
Stay right where you are. I'm coming over.
Bill! Oh, I've got to get out of here.
Well, my dear Adrian, where are you going?
Frank, Bill just called. He'll be here in a few minutes.
Oh, really? He was arrested late this afternoon.
He posted bail. He's out. He's coming here.
I don't believe you are lying. Lying as usual.
He mustn't find you here. He'll know everything if he finds us together.
I won't be here long, my dear. Only you will be here. But you won't be a very cooperative witness.
Witness?
Yes, I heard how you have been talking.
Who told you that?
Mr. Gifford, Mrs. Spurling's lawyer.
It's a lie. I wouldn't betray
He
you.
said the police had a witness who could clear Spurling of the murder charge. Only you can do that.
He was trying to trick you, don't you see?
No, he is too stupid to lie to me. I distinctly remember he said it was a woman.
No.
He said she.
You've fallen into a trap. You've got to get out of here.
I don't believe you. You've turned the tables on me. You've thrown in again with Spurling because you think he'll have the money.
No.
Don't
Frank.
move away, my dear.
No, don't.
The needle won't be painful.
Don't, please. Please, you're wrong. Don't.
Hold still.
Don't.
You can't run. You can't lie.
Please.
Ever again.
Don't. Oh.
Open up! Open up! Police! There he is at the window. Stop him!
Stand where you are, Lupescu, or I'll shoot. You're under arrest.
And you'll be interested to know, Bill, that the DA has dropped all charges against you. You're free to do anything you please, go anywhere you please.
Yeah.
You're a very lucky guy. You got off easy. But you don't seem very happy.
I'm not. Harold, I realize what a miserable character I am.
You'll get over it. The money will help you forget.
About that money,
Yeah?
I want you to set up some sort of thing where it can be given away. Give it away in Ann's name, all of it.
I see. What about you?
Me? I'll make out. I'll make out.
Bill Sperling, a weak man, a selfish man, urged, persuaded, walked down the dark road that led to murder. Only a last-second breath of decency deterred him from his purpose and made him realize that he almost killed the one person in the world he loved and who loved him. I'll be back in a moment. You have just heard a tale of weakness, betrayal, and murder. When Bill Sperling walked out of his attorney's offices, alone, penniless, his empty life before him, he had one small seed of consolation. He knows Ann's money, which he once wanted enough to kill for, would be used for good. He knew in his heart that was the way she would have wanted it to be used. Our cast included Mason Adams, Marion Seldes, Vicky Vola, Jackson Beck, and Sid Sloan. The entire production was under the direction of Hyman Brown. This is E.G. Marshall inviting you to return to our Mystery Theater for another adventure in the macabre. Until next time, pleasant dreams. I'm E.G. Marshall. Once again, I invite you to sail with me on a mysterious voyage into the unknown, unexplored country of the human mind. Come in. Welcome. I'm E.G. Marshall. Once again, I invite you to sail with me on a mysterious voyage into the unknown, unexplored country of the human mind. To be fair, it must be said that the mass murder of millions of human beings was not invented during our century. But to be accurate, it should be noted that in our generation, massacres, holocausts, and wholesale slaughter in general has been developed into what might be considered a fine art. Certainly, the atrocities that ancient, uncivilized barbarians committed in paroxysms of superstitious passion have been performed in our day with an almost impersonal and scientific objectivity. Is this better or worse? Or does it matter?
Trust him. Trust him. He'll save us.
Save us? How? Your grandfather is old and sick. We have no weapons.
My grandfather will save us.
Look, there are 100 soldiers coming up this hill. Can you see them?
I see them.
See us too.
Have no fear.
Have no fear. In a minute, we'll all be...
My grandfather will save us. Believe me.
Why? Why are you so sure he can save us?
Because he promised.
He promised. Oh, dear Lord. Maybe we'd better surrender.
No. Trust my grandfather. He always keeps his promise.
Well, then what is he waiting for?
Have faith. Have faith.
Our mystery drama, The Golem, was written especially for the Mystery Theater by Sam Dan and stars Robert Lansing. There are times in the history of the human race when things become unstuck. The glue of morality melts under the intense heat of hideous pressures, and men are no longer tied to a rational society. Suddenly, the world is ruled by madmen, and human beings are arbitrarily divided into two groups, the hunters and the hunted. The year is 1943. We're in a cottage in the thick woods that surround a country town in a vast wilderness somewhere in Central Europe. The man is a forester. He is sitting quietly before a pleasant fire. His wife is telling a bedtime story to a sleepy child in a crib.
And so the king said to each of the suitors who came to ask for his daughter's hand, all of you are handsome and all of you are strong, but the one who was chosen must also have a good heart. He must be kind to the poor, and he must protect the weak. Shh. I think she's asleep. Now I can heat up your supper. Just imagine, Topchick, I was able to get beef today. Think of it, beef.
I'm not hungry.
You're not hungry? Topchick, what is the matter? Oh, no. Something's wrong.
I don't want to talk about it.
Eat your supper. You'll feel better.
I'll never feel better. I was in town today.
Yes?
And in the square there were soldiers, Germans, the Nazis. They'd rounded up about 100 people.
Jews?
Yes. And they were shoving them into trucks.
Why should we care?
Taking them away to kill them.
Well, it's war and...
Do you know what I did?
No.
I did nothing.
I don't understand. What were you supposed to do?
Once I saw a man who was whipping a horse, an old, sick horse. Do you know what I did to that man?
Topchick, please, you're only
And
going...
all he was doing was whipping a horse.
Oh.
And today in the square, I did nothing. All of us, we just stood around. We all did nothing. Most people pretended that nothing was happening.
Topchick, please.
Let me tell you who was there.
I'm not interested.
A very old man with a long white beard. He was standing next to a young girl.
I just don't want to hear anymore.
Standing quietly, very quietly, looking straight ahead. And it so happened that his eyes looked straight into mine.
Please, Topchick.
His eyes, they asked me for help, but I turned my head away. I denied him.
Oh, if you'd done anything at all, you'd be... Who could that be?
I don't know.
Now, are you sure you didn't do anything?
I told you I did nothing.
I'll open it. Who are you?
It's the old man and the young girl.
Please, may we come in? Just to get warm at your fire. My grandfather, he's so old. And he's very sick, and he needs... Please. A little water, just a little water, and a piece of bread. Young girl, please, I want to help you. God bless you. I can't. Please don't ask me to. They'll burn the house down. They'll kill us. Just let my grandfather get warm for a minute. No, please don't come in. They'll find out you were here. Please don't destroy us. Have mercy on us. I'm sorry I disturbed you. Come, grandfather. There is no one at home here. Topchick, what are you staring at?
Did you see the old man's eyes?
Now, Topchick.
how those eyes looked into mine.
I tell you, I won't listen.
And for the second time today, I denied him.
Come, Jack. You haven't touched a bite. You worked hard all day. You must eat.
I think I'll go for a walk.
Now?
Yes.
In this weather, but it's crazy. Now, look, you listen
I think
to
you've
me.
said enough for one day.
Open! In the name of the Führer!
Nazis! Tom, Jack, let me do the talking. Please let me do the talking.
Open!
Yes, I'm coming. Oh, good evening, Lieutenant. That is the lieutenant's insignia, isn't it?
As if you don't know. We're looking for 2 escaped criminals.
Criminals?
An old man with a white beard. A girl about 20.
What crime did they commit?
Tom, Jack.
What crime? You're a funny one.
Tom, Jack, this is no time for your jokes. The soldiers are here on serious business.
You say you haven't seen them?
No, Lieutenant.
Then you should have no objection if we search the house.
Oh, why should we object?
Inside, boys.
That staircase leads up to the attic, and this trapdoor is for the cellar.
You are Tomchek Mostarik, the forester?
Yes, he is, and I'm his wife, Berenice.
You've seen no one all day?
No, sir.
Well, those vermin can't go far.
What will you do with them if you catch them?
You mean when we catch them? They've given us too much trouble already. We'll just shoot them. Oh, excuse me. I had noticed you have a little one.
Yes.
Asleep there in the crib. Boys, move about more quietly. Oh. She is a little princess, isn't she?
Yes. She'll be 5 in November.
You know I have one. She'll be 4.
Her name is Olga.
Really? Mine is called Helga. It's the same name, you know. Boys, there's no one hiding around here. Form them up outside, Sergeant.
Won't you have a glass of wine, Lieutenant?
Oh, no, not on duty. What is your husband's name again?
Tomchek. Good.
And if you can find them for us, there'll be a handsome reward for your work.
Oh, Tomchek doesn't want a reward. Thrilled to be of service.
They say you know these forests better than any man living.
He knows every tree.
I want you to come with me.
Me?
Do you have any objections? I need a guide.
Oh.
You'd know every likely hiding place.
Oh, you certainly would.
And if you can find them for us, there'll be a handsome reward for your work.
Oh, Tomchek doesn't want a reward. That's just the knowledge that he's doing his duty.
You know, Tomchek, my wife is like that, too. I can never get a word in edgewise when she's around. Well, let us go.
You mean now?
Now.
Lieutenant?
Yes, Tomchek.
I would suggest we go no further.
Why?
There's no moon. The terrain is getting too treacherous.
Is it?
You've got gullies, ravines. A man can fall and break a leg.
You wouldn't be trying to frighten me, would you?
Why would I want to do that, Lieutenant?
Or maybe you don't want to find them.
They're nothing to me. That's one of your men.
Sounds like Streicher. Sergeant, get some men over there fast. Well, Tomchek, you may have been right. I can't see a thing out here. Is Streicher all right?
Yeah, hurt his leg. We'll have to carry him back.
Sergeant, bring everybody close to the path. We're heading home. Tomchek, what chance do they have to survive out there?
None.
Well, we'll make sure of that tomorrow morning. Cigarette?
No thanks.
Oh, go ahead, take one. You know you're dying for a smoke.
Well,
Keep the pack. Plenty of cigarettes. Yes, plenty of good food, good jobs, 4 sensible people. Tell me something, Tomchek. Are you a sensible person?
Yeah.
Have a light. What is it, Tomchek? What's the matter?
The matter?
As I struck the match, I could see your face. You had a funny look. As if you were in pain.
Well, I have this arthritis.
Well, so do I. But from the look on your face, yours must be pretty bad.
Yes.
Well, get some sleep. Tomorrow could be another long day.
Lieutenant, do we have to keep looking for them?
Do we have to?
All you do when you find them is shoot them.
Perhaps.
In a day or two, there'll be enough cold and hunger anyhow.
Oh, you're back. Did they find...
No.
I have something nice and hot for you to drink. Take off your coat. But why are you just standing there?
Shh. I want to make sure the Nazis are gone.
Why don't you take off your coat?
I'm going out again right away.
But where? I demand to know where.
There are two people who need help.
But you just said they didn't find them.
That's right. They didn't. The Nazis didn't find them, but I found them.
But how? How could you...
The lieutenant and I, we'd stopped to light a cigarette. He was facing one way, I another. In the flare of the match, I could see, near a tree in the darkness, the face of the old man.
You saw the old man?
It was only for a moment, but that moment was as long as eternity. His eyes burned into mine. The pleading...
Tomczyk, please listen to me.
Shh. Once again, I turned my head away. And a voice whispered in my ear, a voice I had never heard before, whispered, "This night, you shall deny me 3 times. Marina, I have denied him 3 times. I cannot deny him again."
Oh, how easy it is to believe in brotherly love when your brother is lovable and respectable and acceptable. But what do you do about those brothers who are hated and hunted, who have every man's hand turned against them? Well, that's when you find out what you really believe the hard way. I shall return shortly with Act 2. His name is Tomczyk. Her name is Marina. They live in a great mountainous forest that covers much of Central Europe. Around them swirl distant echoes of the greatest war in history. And yet, their lives seem but little touched. True, almost every night, they hear the drone of Liberators, Lancasters, and B-17s. But their small town is hardly ever hit. And true, there are people who are being ruthlessly exterminated, but as Marina keeps reminding Tomczyk, it's none of their affair. And it wasn't. Until tonight.
Tomczyk, what are you saying?
I heard a voice.
No.
A voice that said...
Oh, please, I'm frightened.
The voice said, "This night you shall deny me 3 times. And I have.
What are you going to do?
I need blankets.
No.
And food.
I won't let you...
Something inside me is making...
It's witchcraft. The old man, he bewitched you.
No, you and I, we don't believe in that.
All right. You can't help yourself. I know.
The voice keeps telling me I must go out there.
I know. Now, let me help you.
You want to help me?
Yes, I'll get a rope. I'll tie you to the bed.
What are you talking about?
I'll be able to hold you here. Let me. No, please. Tomczyk!
Will you get out of my way?
No, I'll leave this place. I'll save myself and our child. Tomczyk! Oh, Lord, save us.
Old man, you're here. I know it. Will you trust me? I want to help you. Where are you? You have to be here. I want to help you.
No. Don't be afraid.
kill us. Do it quickly.
Shh, I've come to help you.
Why?
Because... Well, the old man, where is he? You can't just let him lie on the ground like that.
I don't have any more strength.
He'll freeze to death. We have to get him to his feet. Come on, old man. No, he's unconscious. We must make him walk.
Let him die. In peace.
No, he's going to live.
For how long?
Who knows how long anyone will live. Here, put this blanket around his shoulders. And take this one for yourself. Come on, old man. We must walk.
Where?
It's to a hidden place. It's a place I know. It's a cave.
Oh, bless you. Do you realize how much you're doing for us?
No, it's not very much. I remember once I did more for a horse.
I never thought I'd be warm again.
You were less than 500 yards away from this cave.
The smoke from the fire. Will somebody see it?
No. There's nothing to worry about. This cave is my secret. Here. Drink this hot.
Oh. Grandfather?
Shh, let him sleep. He'll get better now. I saw you earlier today in the square. How did you escape?
Well, you see... Oh, I can tell you. I know it. I can trust you. My grandfather was a chemist in Prague.
Yes.
When the Nazis took over, he was afraid that they would force him to work for them, and so he went in. Well, we went into hiding, and it's been that way, running from place to place.
That's almost 5 years. How did you manage?
There were all sorts of people. Some were kind enough to help us. Others betrayed us.
But you got away.
Well, the officer in charge of the convoy, the lieutenant, he kept looking at my grandfather.
Why?
He must have recognized him. Grandfather was a very famous research chemist.
Yes.
He'd been working on a formula that would release explosive forces much more powerful than dynamite.
No, I'm afraid I don't understand. I'm not very educated. I'm only a peasant.
I don't really understand it either. And I've been to the university. But he is afraid that they could torture him to working for them. So he said to me... He said...
Yes?
He said, let us try to run away, and then they'll shoot us, and that way it'll be over quickly.
But how did you run away?
After we left the square, they drove us to the edge of the forest, and the truck had a blowout, and they ordered everyone off of it.
Well?
Grandfather took my hand, and we walked toward the woods.
What do you mean, just like that?
At any moment, we expected to hear shots and be killed. But nothing happened.
How do you account for it?
Well, I suppose they didn't think anyone would dare to escape, and they were so busy yelling at the driver for his carelessness, and so we just kept walking.
Rebecca.
Oh, here, he's coming around.
Rebecca.
Is that your name, Rebecca?
No. My name is Rachel.
Rebecca. Where are you?
I don't understand. He doesn't know anyone named Rebecca.
Rebecca.
Grandpa.
There you are, child.
Grandpa, don't you know who I am?
Of course, my child. You're Rebecca, daughter of my oldest son, Ezra.
Grandpa, don't you know who you are?
Child, what are these questions? I know who I am. I am Solomon ben Isaac, Rabbi of Prague. Where is the book?
The book?
The book that was sent to me by my old friend, the Spanish rabbi.
The Spanish rabbi?
You know him. Moses ben Maimonides.
Maimonides? Grandfather, Maimonides has been dead for more than 700 years.
And in this book, He speaks of a golem.
A golem?
How it is possible to create a champion, to make out of clay a man of irresistible force who will come to the rescue of oppressed people. Golem.
Oh, grandfather.
I will create such a champion, and he will rescue our people. Now, child, you must not disturb me. I must close my eyes and think.
Yes, grandfather. Oh, his mind is gone. It's gone.
What was he talking about?
Oh, a legend. A medieval Hebrew legend about a golem. It must have been the Golem of Prague who saved our people once during some troubled times.
A legend?
A creature made by one of our wise men, but I don't understand.
You don't have to understand a legend.
He thinks he's a 13th century rabbi. He was never interested in history.
Rebecca.
Yes, grandfather.
I will save us. You'll see. I'll save all of us. I promise. Child, I have never broken my promise.
I was scared out of my wits. I thought you'd be caught and shot.
Well, I wasn't.
You found them, I suppose?
Let's not talk about it.
That's...
Yes, I know who that is. Let him in. As if we have anything to say about it.
Don't despise me, Tomchek. Is it so terrible to want to live? Lieutenant.
Good morning.
A cup of coffee, Lieutenant.
Oh, never on duty. Well, Tomchek, ready?
Yes, sir.
You look as if you didn't even get to sleep last night.
Lieutenant, sometimes he's just restless.
Here, take these, Tomchek.
Well, what's in the package, Lieutenant?
Pills.
Pills?
I stopped at our dispensary. I got you some pills for your arthritis.
Tomchek, but you don't have arthritis.
Yes, I do.
Oh, what are you talking about? Since when do you have arthritis?
Well,
well, maybe he's had it since last night, eh? Tomchek, we must be off to the hunt.
Oh, Lieutenant.
Good evening, Marina.
But Tomchek isn't at home.
He isn't?
Well, you didn't tell him you'd want to come...
Yes, that's right, I didn't. But I hadn't come here to see Tomchek.
No?
No. I want to see you.
Come in.
Thank you. I want to help you.
Help me?
First off, Tomchek told me a lie.
A lie? About what?
About having arthritis.
Oh, but he does. Oh, he does.
No. Now, it's a minor thing, a silly thing, but he told me a lie. Why does a man lie? He lies because he's nervous and frightened. Why should Tomchek be nervous and frightened? Because he's doing something wrong? Something seriously wrong? Like what? Like hiding fugitives? You see how simple and logical it is?
But Tomchek wouldn't, you know. He could.
He would. He could. He is. For 3 days now, he's been leading me all around the woods. There isn't a trace of those two.
Oh, but...
He's got them hidden away. Otherwise, how could they have disappeared so completely?
Oh, Tomchek would never...
Marina, you're his wife. You love him. And right now, you're the only one who can save him.
But, Lieutenant...
Quiet. Shall I tell you how you can save him?
And suddenly a word, a single word, sears itself into Marina's consciousness. The word is betrayal. How can something she has yet to find out be a betrayal of someone or something that is very important to her husband? And just as he heard a voice in his heart, she also hears one now. A voice that says, "One of you shall betray me." I will return shortly with Act 3. There are times when it seems that the Lord sleeps and the world is abandoned to the will of the wicked. And during such times, perhaps the wisest course, perhaps the only course, is to survive, to endure, to wait for a long night to end, and to hope for a new day. But meanwhile, one must live. And right now, a young woman named Marina, whose home is in Central Europe during the Nazi occupation, is listening to what she must do if she is to live.
Marina, I need those 2 prisoners.
But Tomczyk doesn't...
No, you mustn't pretend you don't know Tomczyk is guilty.
Lieutenant, please.
Don't cry. Tomczyk, being Tomczyk, would sooner die than betray them.
But Tomczyk doesn't...
No. We must not go back to the beginning. We're past all that. Therefore, you must find out from Tomczyk where they are hidden.
But
And you will find out in 24 hours. Or do you know what I will do? I will shoot Tomczyk.
You hear the noise, Rebecca?
The noise, Grandfather.
The noise of the mob in the streets. They're getting ready to kill.
Grandfather, try to rest.
Rest? Now? The people, they must not make the same mistake as last time. They must not try to barricade themselves in the synagogue. They should come out here to this cave, an excellent hiding place. And besides, the Golem can be more effective out in the open.
The Golem?
Yes, child. I can make a Golem.
But that's...
What you wish to say is that only God can make a living creature, huh? That's true. But the Golem is not a living person. The Golem is a force.
Yes, Grandfather. Yes. But now rest.
A man-made force. Where is Tomczyk, the young peasant who is so kind?
He will try to return.
Could he get me some salt, some clay, and some...
Yes, Grandfather. Whatever you like. Now, please, rest.
Tomczyk. My poor Tomczyk, you've fallen asleep over your dinner.
Yes, well, I'm so tired.
It's too much for you, Tomczyk.
I have to go out.
Please.
Marina, I'm sorry. I must do this. Now, don't try to talk me out of it.
But I don't want to do that. If what you're doing is important to you, it must also be important to me. And so, I must also be a part of it. I want to help.
No, it's too dangerous.
I must be a part of whatever you do, Tomczyk. Don't you understand? I, too, must help.
Marina, I love you so much.
That old man, he must be terribly ill.
He is.
Well, he needs good nursing care. Now, you know I could do that.
Would you?
Where is he? Tomczyk.
Marina, you look so beautiful right now. It must be because you feel beautiful.
Where are they hidden? Where?
Marina, once I tell you, You become a part of it, too.
Where, Tom Check?
You know the cave?
The cave?
Have you forgotten? We found it that day when we went walking. We went inside.
Oh, yes. Yes, I remember.
The old man is terribly sick. He needs you, Marina.
Well, now, first I must go to town.
To town? Why?
Well, there's Olga. I'll take the child to my brother's house.
Oh, of course, she'll be safe there.
And then I'll stop for some medicine. And Tom Check,
Yes,
I love you.
I know.
Oh, Tom Check, you'll never know how much.
How is he now?
Quiet. He talks to himself. Oh, I'm frightened.
Oh, no, most people talk to themselves.
No. He talks to himself in Hebrew.
Well?
He has never learned Hebrew. He doesn't know it.
Are you sure?
Yes. And from what I can understand, it's a kind of medieval Hebrew that hasn't been spoken in hundreds of years. Now, how would he know it?
I don't understand. What is that?
I don't know how to explain.
All over the floor, all the way back in the cave. What has he done?
Well, he took the clay that you brought him, and well, he's making.
It's in the form of a man.
Yes, he's been making a golem.
Whatever it is, it's like a giant. Where did he get the clay?
He made it from that you brought.
I didn't bring all that much.
Yes, it's frightening. It seems to be growing. I can't believe my eyes, but there it is. Grandfather, please tell us.
Be quiet.
But Grandfather.
Sir, what is that?
I am about to write down certain words. Certain awful words. And in this place, there must be silence. The silence of the...
But you promised. You promised.
And I shall keep my promise, Marina. You have my word. You'll even be rewarded. Well?
They're hiding in a cave.
A cave? You must do better than that, my dear.
You pick up the pathway just past our house, and you follow it north for 2 miles. Now you come to a deep ravine. In front of you is what looks like a wall of solid rock.
But it isn't.
No, because when you climb to the top of it, you will see the entrance to the cave.
Thank you. Sergeant, place her under arrest.
But you said...
I said you'd be rewarded. At this point, I don't know how. If you're lying, a firing squad will give you 30 leaden bullets. If you're truthful, there are 30 silver krona.
He's quiet. He's so quiet.
Too quiet. He appears to be in a trance. I wish I knew what to do.
No, don't be discouraged. Marina will know. She was studying to be a nurse, but her parents lost their money, and she'll help.
Oh, bless her.
Yes. She's really a wonderful person. She worries a lot, but in the end you can depend on her.
Maybe...
Maybe what?
Maybe you and your wife should just...
Yes?
It's not your fight.
Yes. Yes, Rachel, it's my fight. It always was my fight. Will you fight with me?
I don't know how.
Yes, you do.
Children! Children!
Oh, thank the Lord. He looks better.
Children! They have come for us. They have come.
Oh, Grandfather, just be...
Listen, outside.
Around it, pull back.
Look down.
Separate.
Look down, the Nazis.
They're climbing up the rocks.
They know where we are. They know we're here.
Tomczyk! Tomczyk, we know you're there. I'm down.
Oh, Tomczyk, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for you.
Well, I can hold them off. One man with a rifle can knock them down one at a time. We'll hold out till dark and we'll try to run for it.
No, Tomczyk. It's no good. And I'm so tired.
No, don't lose courage.
Tomczyk!
Save yourself, Tomczyk.
Tomczyk, you're a sensible person.
There comes a time when
When what?
When he no longer hears our prayers. And he says, my children, it is your will. Do with it whatever you will. Destroy yourselves in your own madness. I abandon you.
Rachel, you mustn't say that.
Grandfather, let us save Tomczyk. Let's give ourselves up. Grandfather.
Behold, my children. Behold.
That thing he made is moving.
The people shall be saved. The murderers shall perish.
Grandfather, what have you done?
We have been sent a champion.
It's a giant.
The champion shall smite the mad killers of the innocent.
Grandfather.
I have written the awful, never-to-be-forgotten words. I have breathed the force of life into the champion.
Clay giant, it's moving.
Clay no longer, but fire and steel.
Look at it. You look.
Through me, it has acquired the force and power of 1,000,000 suns. He shall burn away the evil that surrounds us. I charge you, champion, avenger, protector, Golem, go forth. Go forth.
In there, take them alive. Hey, what is that? What is that?
It destroyed them all. To the last man. What was it?
You saw a golem.
Where did it go?
It vanished. As if into thin air. But the pious old folks still believe. Oh, and they assure you that the golem will reappear one day when someone shall awaken him to save the people.
What is that you're saying?
I remember reading the story of the golem.
Rachel.
Grandfather.
My head. I had the strangest dream. I dreamed I was living hundreds of years ago, and I was... Who is this man? Where have I seen you before?
Come, Grandfather. We must be on our way.
Where? I'm so tired of running.
We will join the partisans. It's time we stopped running and started fighting.
Was there a golem? The question is, what is a golem? A thing of irresistible force. Well, so is a bomb. A British or American bomber flying overhead may have dropped one. On the other hand, the old gentleman was a scientific genius. he could have made one. Or it could have been what you heard, a golem. I'll be back shortly. There is a legend that a medieval Hebrew scholar created a creature of great strength and power to rescue his beleaguered people from the madness of a mob, a creature called a golem. It is significant that the word golem means unfinished, and this is fitting because to save the world, we can only depend on a certain amount of help to be given us. The rest of the effort must be our own. Our cast included Robert Lansing, Mildred Clinton, Patricia Elliott, Ralph Bell, and Robert Dryden. The entire production was under the direction of Hyman Brown. This is E.G. Marshall inviting you to return to our Mystery Theater for another adventure in the macabre. Until next time, pleasant dreams.
And now, Mystery Theater.
Come in. Welcome. I'm E.G. Marshall. Most people look upon their own everyday lives as being routine, without much excitement. But that shouldn't stop anyone from having an active imagination. This is why we make our escape from the humdrum with stories of adventure, mystery, and murder. Another mental activity most people enjoy is fitting together the pieces of a puzzle. The stranger the shapes, the more challenging that puzzle becomes. Our present puzzle concerns a young man who is called upon to use all his wits in figuring out the whereabouts of a string of deadly pearls.
Now, it's absolutely essential, Keith, that you understand the importance of this assignment.
I believe I do, sir.
If those pearls aren't recovered, and recovered soon, it's an established fact that someone else will die.
I understand.
And no matter what happens, no one on that island must have any idea who you really are or what you're doing there.
Check.
You better be a good actor.
I think I can manage that. What do I have to lose?
You could lose your life.
Our mystery drama, The Deadly Pearls, was written especially for the Mystery Theater by Elizabeth Pennell and stars Paul Hecht and Kate Reed. Although the FBI and the Honolulu police were in on the case, because of certain peculiar circumstances, it was important that the criminal be apprehended by a private investigator. This hazardous assignment went to Keith Spencer, a young man who had proved his physical courage in wartime service. But other qualifications were required for the job, as explained when Keith had his final briefing in San Francisco with the head of the Gordon Investigating Service.
Afraid we've given you a rough time these past few days.
Oh, I didn't mind, sir. Only I am anxious to get going.
You do type, don't you?
Oh, sure.
Well, I'm afraid you'll have to prove it, so let's do two things at once. Take over this typewriter, and I'll dictate some paragraphs.
Okay, shoot.
I, Keith Spencer, am unmarried, with no living relatives,
and no dependents. From this day forward, and until the completion of this assignment, I have assumed the identity of Robert Keith Ryder, and under no circumstances will I reveal my true identity.
Is that all?
Yeah, if you'll sign it.
Sure, got a pen?
Here. Oh, I suppose you should have signed a statement about your ability to play bridge.
What?
You did assure us that you play at least an average game of contract.
Well, sure, but I didn't realize it was all that important.
It could be crucial. Our 3 suspects are avid bridge players, when they can find a fourth.
Okay. Now, before I leave, let's go over the basic facts once more.
All right. The missing pearls were cultured. A single strand, about 24 inches long.
So they'd hang down about 12 inches if someone was wearing them. They don't sound very spectacular.
Yeah, but they are. Jonathan Kohlmeyer, who bought them, was a partner in a watch company which made radium dials. And somehow he managed to have the pearls treated with radium so they would glow in the dark.
When he first thought up this scheme, did he have an ulterior motive?
Who knows? It was what happened later that we care about.
And you don't think he started out as a murderer?
Well, that's beside the point. He became one. And when he found out how easy it was, he did it again 3 times.
Now, clue me in. Who did he bump off first?
The first woman he gave the pearls to was said to be very frail. When she died in an accident, Kohlmeyer was in a state of shock. So no one accused him of complicity in her death.
Yeah, but apparently he did retrieve whatever presents he'd given her.
Oh, yeah. He was that type. Then he got married. He gave the pearls to his bride, who wore them constantly. She loved that string of pearls.
How long did she last?
Radium can be a slow death. But it caught up with her after a while, and when she was dying, the doctors suspected radium poisoning.
So why didn't they nail her husband right then?
It never occurred to anyone to suspect the pearls.
How could any smart murderer pull the same stunt again?
He fell in love with a young and brainless beauty. Must have really liked her because he didn't give her the pearls for a long time. Not till he retired and they moved to Hawaii.
What did she do to deserve such a present?
Started playing around with another man. That did it. Kohlmeyer gave her the pearls. She moved out, went off with the pearls and her new boyfriend to a scarcely inhabited island, a small one, well offshore from Oahu. And when she developed an unexplained malady, the boyfriend left her.
Big-hearted guy.
Well, after her death, there was an autopsy. And this time, no question. Radium poisoning.
Now, why didn't the police move in and confiscate the pearls?
There were no pearls to be found.
Now, isn't it possible that Kohlmeyer had been there and gotten them?
No way. Kohlmeyer committed suicide without returning to the islands.
Without a confession about what he'd done?
Good Lord, no. He was a respected businessman.
Now, you think the pearls are still on the island?
We're sure of it. But more than that, Keith, we've narrowed down to 3 people who lived nearest the cottage where the last victim died.
So my job, then, is to make friends with these 3 people and find out quietly which one of them has the deadly pearls.
Well, you make it sound too easy. Each of these people is highly eccentric. The few people who come and go from that island are under constant surveillance.
Including me.
Naturally. The pearls were usually kept in a narrow box. It looked like an ordinary jeweler's box, but it was made of lead.
Protection against the radium, of course. Means it would be heavier than most boxes that size.
Well, that makes it seem more elegant. The box is covered with purple velvet and lined with satin.
How original.
I know. It won't look much different from any jewel box you've ever seen.
I can't help thinking how useful a Geiger counter would be.
That's totally out of the question. When you bring a Geiger near a suspected object, it starts ticking.
Sure, I know. No gadgets to make life easier.
Just your own ingenuity. And it better be good. Well, there's not much more I can say, except to wish you luck.
I did my homework, and the more I read about those 3 characters on the island, the more curious I was to meet them. The Honolulu police cleared me, and then I was completely on my own with a photograph of the cottage and a map that showed how to find it. I was given a putt-putt stocked with a supply of canned goods, stowed the typewriter in duffel bag, and at last I was off. It was a cloudless day, and I found the beaching cove on the island without any trouble. You couldn't see the cottage from the beach, but I knew how to follow directions. Lugging my big canvas bag, I headed up a steep and winding path. And there it was, a neat, modern cottage with an enormous deck from which there must be quite a spectacular view. But I had a spectacular view myself just then, because on that deck was a dazzling blonde, obviously sunbathing. She sprang to her feet in all her glory, and I would have been speechless, except I knew I couldn't be.
Who the hell are you?
This is the Kohlmeyer cottage, isn't it?
What business is that of yours?
I'm the new tenant.
This place is not for rent.
No, that's right, not anymore. I've signed the papers. It's mine, for at least a year.
Who are you?
I'm sorry. How rude of me not to introduce myself. I'm Robert Keith, a writer in search of a quiet place to hang a typewriter.
I don't believe you. The last thing we need around here is a writer.
Lady, I am planning to live here.
Not if I can help it.
Okay. I've answered your questions. How about answering one for me? Who are you?
None of your business. Since you claim the house is yours, let's see you open the door.
Just what I was about to do. I understand it takes 2 keys. And here they are. Both of them.
Where'd you get those keys?
Now, do you believe me?
Big deal. You opened the door. And now I know who you are. You're a policeman. They sent you here to spy on us. Well, I'm not going to stand for it. When the supply boat comes around tomorrow, I'll send a message back to my lawyer. No penny anti-flunky is going to be spying on me.
I assure you I'm not
Don't
going
bother to unpack your things, Robert Keith, because tomorrow...
Really, Miss...
Mrs. Walsh. Mrs. Barbara Walsh. And you'll find that I have protection against people like you.
The gorgeously suntanned Mrs. Walsh slipped her feet into sandals, picked up her beach towel from the deck, and started along the path which led from the north side of the cottage. You must understand that during our entire conversation, Barbara Walsh was completely in the buff. No bikini, nothing, except around her neck and dangling in long loops over her well-formed body. Not pearls, but necklaces made of those decorative native seeds strung together. Ropes and ropes of them.
Robert Keith may have thought he was prepared for anything, but this introduction to his new home was an unsettling experience he hadn't counted on. He has now had a most revealing look at one of the 3 suspects. We'll be there for his encounter with the others when we return shortly with Act 2. Robert Keith found the cottage very much to his liking. He had expected something rather dark and sinister, but one wall of the living room had a big picture window, and in the bedroom there was a slanting skylight directly over the bed. It was certainly no place to hide, and Keith realized that whatever he did could be watched at close range, if anyone cared about what he was doing. He spent the first evening getting settled, and after a late supper of canned goods, he turned in for the night. At about 3 o'clock in the morning, he was sleeping soundly when...
What the devil? Hey, who's out there?
Well, bless my soul.
Hey, would you mind pointing that gun in another direction?
Not until I find out what you're up to.
Now, look, I was sound asleep. I'm living here.
No one lives in this house. Put up your hands.
Now, put down your gun, will you, sir?
Sir, I'm a man of honor. Colonel George Madison's the name, Army retired. And no one sets foot on this island without reporting to me.
Yeah, well, I was sorry. I didn't know that, Colonel. And if you'll come in, I'll show you my credentials. What the hell's that? Is there someone else out there?
No. Wait a minute. I'll check you out later. Right now, I recommend you go back to bed. Oh. There's a wild boar under the deck, and I aim to get him.
When the sun came up, it was another cloudless day. And after breakfast, I decided to pay a visit. Not eager to encounter either the gun-happy colonel or the wild-eyed lady with no clothes, it seemed wise to seek a formal introduction to the third island resident. The path to her property was overgrown with luxuriant shrubbery, but it opened up into an area dotted with palm trees surrounding a small stone house. Squatting in the midst of a flower bed was a gnome of a woman wearing one of those loose garments the Hawaiians call muumuus.
I wondered when you were coming.
You were expecting me?
Of course. You're the writer who's moved into the death cottage.
Moved into the what?
Well, surely the rental agent told you that the 3 former tenants died there.
I think you're just trying to frighten me, but I don't scare easily.
You're very sure of yourself, aren't you, Mr. Keith?
Well, you know my name. Well, since we're going to be neighbors, perhaps you'll tell me...
I'm Nora Babcock. And if you'll help me up, we'll go to my porch where the coffee's perking.
I assisted Miss Babcock to her feet. The aging body was stooped and slow-moving, and her hands were badly crippled, yet she used them capably to pour the coffee when we were seated at a wicker table on her porch.
Oh, yes, Mr. Keith. I've lived on this island for a long time. That house was just a shack when the poor man, a writer like yourself, was stabbed to death in a ghastly pool of blood. The cottage was rebuilt before an unfortunate woman was strangled there. And then it was fixed up with all that glass to let the sun in. But nothing could save the last dear lady who simply wasted away.
Well, here's hoping I'll have better luck.
That depends. When were you born, Mr. Keith?
You mean what year?
No. The date. The day. The hour.
Oh, I was born in August. 14th of August.
Oh.
You sound disappointed.
You certainly don't look like Leo. The lion. And I would have thought that a writer... but no matter. There may be other factors. You belong to the northern sign of the zodiac. The middle point of the magnet of the fire triplicity.
Is that a fact?
Oh, you'd better not laugh at me, Mr. Keith. I'll tell you right now that you and I are destined to be enemies. You belong with Sagittarius, Libra, or Aries.
Oh, come on, Miss Babcock. I'm really not so bad. Now tell me about your sign.
I'm Gemini. The positive people of the air triplicity.
You mean air and fire don't mix?
Dangerously, Mr. Keith, very dangerously. Your sign is governed by the sun, and your gems are carnelian and sardonyx.
Well, I wouldn't know a sardonyx if I stumbled over one.
My governing planet is Mercury. Emeralds, moonstones, and pearls are my sign. And I have a very special affinity for pearls.
Mrs. Walsh had obviously passed along word of my arrival, which was why the colonel had come trying to flush me out, and the reason Miss Babcock knew my name and occupation. So, that afternoon, I became a spy, hidden in the underbrush with binoculars trained on the 3 of them walking along the beach. I was darn sure they were planning some strategy to get me evicted. Then, Colonel Madison left the 2 ladies and headed up the trail toward my house. I went quickly to the typewriter and pretended to be busily at work.
Hello there, Mr. Keith. I hope I'm not disturbing you. Beautiful day, isn't it?
Yes, that it is. How are you, Colonel?
No, couldn't be better. Say, I'm sorry about last night. Wouldn't want you to think we're not hospitable around here. Do you mind if I sit down?
No, please do. I was beginning to feel like an outcast.
I gather you've met the ladies.
Yes, they didn't exactly give me a warm welcome.
Pay no attention. Batty old Babcock won't be a problem. She's usually off in outer space, talking to the stars.
I gather she's hit on astrology.
Oh, mad as a hatter, even though she does play a good game of bridge. You say you're also acquainted with Barbara Walsh?
If you mean, have I had a good look at her, you're darn right.
Stunning, isn't she?
You said it. Well, look, tell me, Colonel, what's a woman like that doing all by herself way out here?
Oh, but if this were a British colony, I'd say she's a remittance woman.
She's being paid to stay away?
Yeah, being paid very well. The big man in her life is a mafia type. They nabbed him. My guess is the family's afraid she'll talk unless she's kept well out of the way until he's released from jail.
What's he in for?
Oh, drug traffic, I don't know. Dealing in stolen goods. Let's talk about you, Mr. Keith. You writer fellows interest me. What's your special subject?
I'm a novelist, science fiction sometimes, but mostly light stuff.
Know anything about pearls?
No, not much.
How'd you like to come over to the other side of the island and watch the pearl divers?
Pearl divers? Here?
Oh, well, it's not like Ceylon or the Sulu Sea, but they go through the motions here twice a week during the season. Occasionally they come up with a creditable pearl. Come along if you want to.
Well, I'd like that very much.
Fine. Oh, wear some stout walking shoes, and I'll pick you up in about an hour.
The colonel arrived in his old army uniform carrying a sturdy walking stick. We started off on a barely marked trail, and I marveled at the beauty of the place with its lush flowers and brightly colored birds.
Not that way, Mr. Keith. We take a sharp turn over here. Go up the hill.
Well, just a minute. This island must be more populated than I thought. I hear music.
Oh, that's just Barbara Walsh with her radio going. She has it on all day long. That or her stereo. Come along. Get ready for a steep climb.
The path went straight up, and I had to scramble to keep the colonel from getting too far ahead. But quite suddenly, all the lush greenery ended, and we came out on a rocky promontory overlooking the sea.
We made it.
That's quite a view.
Hey. Now, you see those small boats way out there?
Yeah?
Those are the oyster fishermen. The flat-bottomed boats are dragging nets.
Uh-huh.
And from those kayak-looking things, you may be able to see the young men diving.
Won't they come closer to shore?
No, not much closer. It's too treacherous for the tides are running as high as they are today. Go on, out on that big rock so you can get a better look.
Is it steady?
Oh, like Gibraltar. Go on, Mr. Keith, out further. Don't be afraid. Watch your step, Mr. Keith.
Hey.
Oh, merciful heavens.
Help me, Colonel. Help me.
Hang on, Keith, hang on.
I'm trying to get a foothold.
Here. Grab my walking stick.
I grabbed the stick because I had to, even though I knew it was the same stick that had been pushed into the middle of my back just a moment before.
I'll say you're a brave man, Keith. I like the way you handled yourself back there on the rocks.
I wouldn't say I had much alternative.
It was all the fault of your shoes, Mr. Keith. That's what it was. I warned you to wear walking shoes. I say, Mr. Keith, why don't we stop by to see Barbara?
Right now?
Why not? We need a drink. And she has a good liquor supply.
No, I think I better get back and tend to these scratches. Let's take a look at my clothes. I'm in no condition to go visiting.
Well, as you wish. I'll leave you then at the foot of this hill. And, yes, I've been meaning to ask you, Keith. Do you play bridge?
Well, I'm not the world's best, but yes, I play.
Oh, splendid.
I'm rather out of practice.
Well, heavens knows, so are we. Well, let's say my house, Friday evening. Come for supper, around 7.
Oh, thank you.
Dear me, Mr. Keith, you did get scratched up. Your hands are still bleeding. Perhaps I should go with you.
I'll be all right.
Yes. Well, I'm off then to tell the ladies the good news.
Good news?
Well, yes. The good news that we found a new bridge partner. And I might as well warn you to bring a fat wallet. Our stakes are high.
After a shower and some soothing applications of witch hazel and ointments, I rested on the big bed under the skylight. The front door was wide open for the benefit of a magnificent sea breeze. Suddenly I was on the alert. Someone was on the steps leading to the deck. Then there were slow, heavy footfalls and the tap of a cane.
Mr. Keith? Mr. Keith, are you all right?
Oh, why, hello, Miss Babcock. Yes, come in.
Oh, I heard you'd had an accident, and I thought you might not be able to fix your own supper. So I've brought you some nice oyster stew.
Oh, well, that's very thoughtful of you.
There. It's one of my specialties. Just warm it up.
Oh, thank you very much. Sit down. Won't you share the stew with me?
No. I've had my dinner. Let me see your injuries.
They're nothing but scratches. I was lucky.
Could be serious. And you are not lucky, Mr. Keith. I looked at the stars last night, and the heavens do not bode well for anyone born under the sign of Leo.
But you see me alive and well. I could have crashed all the way down those rocks and into the sea.
Look out for more danger ahead. That was simply the first warning.
Miss Babcock knew what she was talking about, and it had nothing to do with the stars. I heated the oyster stew, and it was delicious. In fact, the best I've ever tasted. But about an hour later, I began to feel drained of all energy. I thought it was just a reaction from a rather strenuous day and decided the best thing to do was go to bed and sleep it off. It was a tremendous effort to get undressed, but I managed to drag myself, partially clothed, onto the big bed. In a prone position, I felt as though I were being suffocated, and panic was setting in. I'd been poisoned, and no one was going to save my life this time unless I did it for myself. Literally, I crawled into the bathroom for the well-stocked medicine kit. Yes, I was prepared with antidotes for poison, but time was too short to figure out which one would be appropriate. By now, my hands and feet were growing numb, and breathing was getting more and more difficult. I mixed up a heavy pink liquid in a glass of water, and just before blacking out, I was very, very sick. When I came to, I was lying on the bathroom floor, weak but grateful to find I was still alive. Very slowly, I got to my feet and staggered toward the bedroom, hoping at last to sleep off the effects of whatever had been in that poisonous stew. But my whole body sagged, and I knew I'd never make the bed, so I eased myself down on a narrow couch in the living room and fell instantly into a heavy slumber. Once again, it must have been about 3 o'clock in the morning when there was a sound which would have awakened the skylight in the bedroom. Back flat against the wall, I waited for minutes that seemed like an eternity. No movement. Absolute silence. So I crept into the next room, armed with a flashlight, and cupping the beam, examined the bed. It was a mass of shattered glass. In the darkness once more, I moved stealthily to the front door, opened it without a sound, and stared into total blackness. Slowly I raised the flashlight and then snapped it on full beam. Pointing straight down the path, facing directly toward me, stood the statuesque Mrs. Barbara Walsh, fully clothed in a long, dark kimono. And over her breasts hung a necklace of gems which burst into life like 4th of July sparklers.
I must warn you not to jump to conclusions. If you imagine that Mrs. Walsh was wearing the stolen pearls, think again. Diamonds are the jewels that glitter when exposed to light. A pearl is sometimes a gem of great value, but it is not a precious stone. And one can scarcely say that pearls sparkle, while radium... Remember the dial on your watch or bedside clock? Radium glows in the dark. We'll be back shortly with Act 3. Mercifully for Robert Keith, The next 2 nights and 3 days were totally uneventful. He dozed in the sun, occasionally pecked at the typewriter, and did a great deal of thinking. Keith looked forward eagerly to the evening of bridge, and as he approached the colonel's house for the first time, he found a charming, sprawling building with a table set out of doors on what the Hawaiians call a lanai. He was glad he had purchased a colorful sports shirt in Honolulu, although it paled beside the one Colonel Madison was wearing over his white slacks. Even Miss Babcock looked festive in her flowered muumuu.
Hi. Ah, welcome, my boy, welcome.
You're looking much better, Mr. Keith.
Quite recovered, thank you. This island air will cure anything.
Anything but my arthritis. Where's Barbara?
Oh, always late. I suspect she's getting herself decked out, ready for the kill.
Oh, you expressed things so aptly, Colonel. If it's like old times, Barbara will come prepared for murder at the bridge table. Oh, I'm speaking...
Hello, everybody.
Oh, Barbara. Well, you've outdone yourself. Hey, dazzling. Simply dazzling.
Oh, Colonel. And, Nora, dear.
I believe you've met Mr. Keith.
My lawyer has verified that he exists.
Well, I'm glad to hear that.
Mr. Keith, you may have the right to live on this island, but that doesn't mean that I have to love my neighbor.
No, Barbara.
However, since we have so little opportunity for social occasions, I propose we declare an armed truce.
But I'm not at war with you, Mrs. Walsh.
Speak for yourself. Peace for the evening.
Dinner began with oysters on the half shell. 6 enormous oysters for each of us.
And I shall be interested in your opinion of these, Keith. Delivered by my favorite fisherman, fresh from the beds this morning.
Colonel, look. My horoscope said this would be a lucky day.
Well, bless my soul.
Nora has nothing on me. I found one, too. But I suspect you, Colonel. Come on, confess.
All right, I confess. Party favors. There's a pearl in every oyster shell.
You rogue. I must say this is rather a good one. Nice sheen.
Oh, I love them. Every one. They feel so good.
I thought the surprise was just for the ladies, but I see you've included me. Very pretty, Colonel.
Well, let that be the beginning of your collection. I hope you won't mind if some of them are already pierced.
You mean a pearl like this one has been removed from a string?
Yes, that's right. Part of my hobby. I seldom find a string that meets my standards for matching, so I rematch them and mix them. But come, let's finish our dinner so we can get on to the battle.
Afraid I'll have to pass.
I say 3 no trump.
Well, 4 hearts.
5 no trump.
Barbara, do you have a ring on every finger?
Only on 8.
Oh, I wish I could wear them. But my poor crippled hands.
Oh, shut up, Nora. You're just trying to distract me. I have a contract to make.
It was a cutthroat game, no question about it. Only, strangely, we were quite evenly matched. We played 3 rubbers, so I had my chance with each one as a partner. By this time, we were on a first-name basis.
Well, that's it. And as usual, top honors go to the ladies. In points, let's see. Barbara's first, then Nora, followed by Bob, and as is proper for a gracious host, I'm last. It'll take a minute to figure out who owes what here.
I think the prize should go to Robert and me for that last small slam. I wouldn't have dreamed that a Leo and Gemini could work so well together. And tell me, Robert, never Bob. Isn't there some way you could find out the hour of your birth?
What rubbish.
Well, if it would please you, Miss Nora, I suppose I could write and ask my mother.
Well, you do that. It's very important.
Oh, Nora.
Speaking of my mother, you've all given me a very good idea. Look, I'd like to send her a present.
A present for your mother?
You'll think I'm sentimental, but many years ago, my dad gave her a string of pearls as an anniversary present, and, well, they were her greatest treasure. It has been a long time now, and she was heartbroken when the pearls were stolen from her New York apartment.
Oh, well, say no more. I'll fix you up. How much do you want to pay?
Oh, now, just a minute, Colonel. I'm afraid you deal in merchandise that's too rich for my blood. I'm talking about a simple string of cultured pearls.
Couple of $100?
Now you're on the right track.
Ridiculous. Excuse me, everybody, but I'm very tired. Time to go home.
Well, I'll be happy to escort the ladies.
Don't bother with me. Perhaps you're not aware that I spend most of every night wandering around the island alone.
Oh, go with them, Barbara. You'll have to help me with the dishes.
That does it.
Walking with Nora Babcock was a tortuous business, and I had a feeling she was in pain every step of the way. And we lost sight of Barbara, although she had an unsettling trick of appearing on the path, sometimes in front of us, sometimes behind. When we reached the door of Nora's house...
She's out there somewhere, and I don't want her to hear. If you'll come to my house tomorrow afternoon, I'd like to talk to you about those pearls for your mother.
Fine. What time?
Around 2 o'clock.
Okay, be seeing you. Good night.
And now you may have the pleasure of seeing me home.
Oh, yeah, this is a pleasure and a surprise.
You want to know what I have against you, don't you?
I am curious.
Well, come to my house for a nightcap and I'll tell you. What do you think of my pad?
Exotic luxury.
You writers have a way with words. But you don't fit the pattern.
And what pattern is that?
Novelist, I despise them.
Oh, come on. We're no different from anyone else.
My husband was. A woman hater who wrote about women and knew nothing about them. Oh, that man crucified me in his books. I know, you're different. I could tell from the way you talked about your mother. Come over here. Sit on the couch. That's better. Hold my hand. You know, it's been frightfully dull around here.
Pretty hands. But don't your fingers get tired under all those rocks?
Take the rings off. It'll make you feel any more comfortable.
Now, let's see. Rubies, diamonds, sapphires. Suppose you'd never stoop to wearing something as simple as a pearl.
On the contrary, my most prized possession, I own a string of priceless pearls. Over there in that velvet box.
May I see them?
I don't put them on display for just anybody. If you're a good boy, I'll show them to you. Here, let me freshen your drink.
You have some fascinating things in this room. That Buddha, for instance.
It's carved from jade.
And, are these the pearls?
Put down that box.
Oh, you said you'd show them to me.
But it's locked, and I have to get the key. Oh, yes, Bob. I said I'd show you the pearls. If you're a good boy. And I will. Tomorrow morning. After you spend the night.
When I was having breakfast next morning in the sunshine on my deck, yes, I was alone. I had not spent the night with Barbara Walsh. In my line of work, it has to be business before pleasure. There was no need to accept a bribe. You see, when I picked up that purple velvet jewel box, it was light as a feather. But, as I was saying, while eating breakfast...
Well, good morning. You're a late riser.
Yeah, I went to a big party last night, Colonel. Come on, have a cup of coffee.
I brought you something. Don't pay any attention to the looks of the box. The velvet's worn. It's been around for a while. It's what's inside that counts. I'd be glad to sell you the pearls. Open the box.
Oh, they're beautiful. Well, these are not the ones we were talking about last night. I mean, this is a double strand. Obviously far more expensive.
I know. They can be sold for several $1,000s someday. But my price to you still stands.
Oh, no, Colonel. I just can't accept it.
My good man, I'm offering you the kind of bargain that comes once in a lifetime.
But it'll never do for my mother. Don't you have something else?
Yes, of course I do. I thought I owed you a favor.
Oh, you owe me nothing. Now, please, Colonel, if you'll let me go to your house, perhaps you could show me another string that would be...
I'll show you nothing right now. Good morning, sir.
The Colonel stomped off, and I knew I would have to change my approach if I wanted to look at his collection. Then I'd think about that later, because my next appointment was with Nora Babcock.
Come in, Robert. Didn't we have a good time last night?
You can be my bridge partner anytime.
That's very sweet. I meant to ask you, how did you like my oyster stew?
Well, the taste was superb, but...
didn't it help you to go to sleep?
Look, I'll level with you, Miss B. You put something in that stew, didn't you?
Oh, the usual dash of chili sauce and plenty of rich cream.
No. I mean something bad.
I don't understand.
That stew made me deathly ill.
Why, I wanted you to sleep well after your accident, so I did put in a drop or two of my sedative. The kind that helps me. From one of those bottles. Perhaps it shouldn't have been combined with the seafood.
Yeah, perhaps. I thought you were trying to poison me.
How could you have such thoughts about a poor old lady?
I take them all back.
Mm-hmm. When is your mother's birthday?
It's in June. Like yours.
Oh, I knew it. I knew it. My pearls were a present, and nothing would please me more than giving them to a Gemini.
Oh, that's very generous of you, but
Please, get the pearls for me, Robert. On that cabinet over there.
Okay.
You'll find the box is rather heavy.
You say these pearls were given to you?
Yes. Yes. By the dear lady who lived in your cottage. I took care of her, poor thing. And before she died, she gave me her dearest treasure. Open the box and tell me what you think.
I think they're perfect.
Oh, you don't know the best part. These pearls have a magical quality. Just wait until you see what happens to them at night.
Uh-huh.
Pick them up, examine them.
Yeah. I like the way they look against the satin.
Oh, how I love them.
Nora, just when do you wear these pearls?
Oh, they're not for wearing. At least not for me. I like to fondle them. And before my hands got so bad, I used them the way the Greeks do. You know, worry beads. I've often taken them to bed with me.
Nora, these hands of yours...
Oh, it's not my hands. You see how hard it is for me to get around.
Yes, I know. Have you been to a doctor?
No use. I have my medicines, though they don't do much good.
I know a fine doctor in Honolulu. I think he can help you. Will you let me take you to him?
Oh, I couldn't let you do that, Robert. It's not the stars. How many times have I told you? I've been warned never to trust a Leo.
Look, Nora, for reasons I won't trouble you with, and that, of course, I wouldn't want the Colonel or Barbara to know, I'm not the person I've pretended to be. Would it make any difference to you if I told you I was actually born on January the 2nd?
Why, all the difference in the world. I should have known. We were destined to be friends from the very beginning, Mr. Keith.
Yes. Just Keith. That's my real first name.
I'll go with you wherever you want me to go.
Case closed. Miss Babcock's destiny was not written in the stars, even though she went to her grave believing it was. The pearls were taken out of circulation, and Nora Babcock was given the best of care in a hospital, where they did what they could to ease the pain during the short time she had left to live. It was thought best not to shatter her dream, so she never knew that Keith Spencer was an orphan, or that her treasured pearls had been anything but a comfort. I'll be back shortly. Keith Spencer found a good deal more on that island than the missing pearls. He stepped into the lives of 3 people whose philosophies did not agree with his, yet with each he had at least one point of mutual understanding. Our mystery was solved with the apprehension of a victim rather than a culprit. Our cast included Kate Reed, Paul Hecht, Grace Matthews, and Kurt Benson. The entire production was under the direction of Hyman Brown.
This is E.G. Marshall inviting you to return to our Mystery Theater for another adventure in the macabre. Until next time, pleasant dreams.
Stay tuned for Mystery Theater.
Come in. Welcome. I'm E.G. Marshall. I'd like to ask you something. What do you consider your most attractive feature? Your hair? Your eyes? Complexion? Your figure? Whatever, each of us is abundantly aware, though there are some who would deny it, of his or her most captivating attribute. And make the most of it, though there are some who deny that too. Be all this as it may, we're about to hear of a woman whose most beguiling characteristic was her smile. And because of it, the horrible thing that happened. Our mystery drama, Berenice, was adapted from the Edgar Allan Poe classic, especially for the Mystery Theater by George Lothar, and stars Michael Tolan and Norman Rose. It is sponsored in part by Contact, the 12-hour cold capsule, and Anheuser-Busch Incorporated, brewers of Budweiser. I'll be back shortly with Act One.
Give your hand to a friend. Give your heart to your love. But give your code to contact. The sooner the better.
6 or 3 or 1? That's the question when you catch the common cold. Sneezing, drips, congestion. Then take 12-hour Contact. You need 6 cold tablets, 2 every 4 hours, or 3 ounces of Cold's liquid, 1 every 4 hours, or just 1 Contact for up to 12 hours continuous relief of those symptoms. The tiny time pills do it. Both the others contain things for aches and fever. The liquid, something for coughs, not found in Contact. Your cold, your choice.
Give your code to Contact.
6 or 3 or 1. Take Contact, only as directed.
This is Tommy Makem. I'm sitting in the John Barleycorn, located at 209 East 45th Street, just off 3rd Avenue. The John Barleycorn is New York's first and most famous Irish singing pub. If you want a sample of what Irish hospitality is really like, you should come in and soak up the atmosphere. The hospitality is warm, the people are cheerful, and the service is just fantastic. They have an old saying at the Barleycorn: there are no strangers here, only friends you haven't met. And you can prove that to yourself by dropping in any time. You can have lunch, dinner, or supper 7 days a week. And a good time all the time. The food is fit for royalty, and as a matter of fact, some of the recipes have been handed down from the courts of Irish kings. The John Barleycorn, the Irish oasis in Midtown Manhattan.
For lunch, dinner, or special party information, call YU6-1088.
What we call a fixation, an idée fixe, is one of the most extraordinary and mystifying aspects of the human mind. For example, love.
young love at least, is a fixation. For the lover cannot get the loved one out of his thoughts. He thinks of her night and day, or she of him. And there is, I need scarcely say, no more wondrous person in all the world. What cure can be found for a fixation? Well, when it comes to love, and I don't mean to sound cynical, I suppose marriage. But when it came to Ernest Montresor and his wife Berenice, well, that's our story.
Do not tell me, Anthony, what I must do or must not do.
Ernest, please.
You are my friend. You are my attorney. You have come here to Mangrove Manor to straighten out whatever legal matters attend Berenice's death, and that is all.
Ernest, I didn't mean to offend you.
I am not offended. I am irritated. You can sit there and say, Ernest, your wife is dying. Try not to hate her as you do. Let me tell you something, my good friend. Had you lived 1 month, 1 week, 1 day in this house with Berenice, that shrew, that spitfire, you too would know what hate is.
But I don't understand. I was at your wedding a little over a year ago, here at Mangrove, and you were deliriously in love with her.
Not her. Her smile.
What?
I know you'll find it hard to believe, but that is the truth. Oh, there were other qualities that attracted me. Her charm, her gentle manner, her warmth. But these vanished quickly once we were married. I soon learned that her charm was a veneer, her gentle manner a mask that concealed a vicious temper.
I am sorry.
I didn't want to hate her. For months I put all feelings of hate from me, the while asking myself how and why I still went on loving her. That's when I realized it was her smile.
I still fail to understand.
Look at Berenice closely, and you will see that she's really very plain, almost ugly. But one doesn't look closely at first. I didn't, surely, because of her smile, of what her smile was then. She had teeth so even, so white, so perfect, they are as matched pearls. As for her lips, nowhere will you find lips so beautifully modeled, so sensuously inviting, so absolutely enthralling.
I remember, yes.
But Anthony, soon after our marriage, her smile changed, too. The lovely contour of her lips became an ugly sneer. She no longer smiled. She bared her teeth like a vicious animal.
But there must have been a reason, something that impelled her to...
I'll give you a reason if you must have it. Constance.
Berenice's younger sister?
Yes. You know she came to live here at Mangrove when her husband died.
I settled the estate, yes. Not, I'm afraid, that there was much to settle. He left her penniless.
Precisely why she lived here. Berenice began to think...
Go no further, Ernest. I am well acquainted with what is termed the eternal triangle.
In this case, there was no triangle. Not then.
But there is now.
Constance is what Berenice pretended to be. Gentle, innocent, loving. Yes, I have fallen in love with her, and she with me. But you may believe me, as Berenice never has, when I tell you that our love is and has ever been platonic. Neither of us has betrayed Berenice in any way. Yes, come? Oh, Constance, my dear. We were just speaking of you. You remember Anthony Lamb?
With pleasure. You were such a help and comfort to me when my husband died, Mr. Lamb.
I did what I could.
You look upset, Constance.
Berenice wants to see you. And she's in one of her blackest moods, I'm afraid.
Is she ever in any other?
Try not to be harsh on her, Ernest. She's dying, you know.
I shall try. If you'll excuse us, Anthony.
Perhaps I should come along. I have to discuss certain legal matters with Berenice, and it will be best if she knows I'm here.
Come, then. But I warn you, my friend, you'll regret every moment spent with her.
It's you.
You wanted to see me, Berenice.
You. Not this army you've brought with you. Get out of here, Constance.
Of course.
And who are you? I've seen you somewhere. I remember you.
I'm Anthony Lamb, Berenice. I don't blame you for not recognizing me. It's been over a year.
Oh, yes. Yes, I remember you now. Ernest's friend, the pettifogging lawyer, the shyster. Why are you here?
Well, now I,
Yes.
Well, Ernest asked me to come because... Well, Berenice, I'm told you're quite ill, and at such times it's best to...
To make sure that all will be legally neat
and tidy when I'm cold in my coffin.
Oh, you put it much...
The only way it can be put. I'm dying, and I know I'm dying, and so do you. If you don't, you must be blind. And if you want proof of it, look. Once my smile was the most ravishing smile on earth. Look at it now. Yes. Yes, the color leaves your face, Mr. Lawyer. You all but shrink away because it's no longer the beautiful smile of the living Berenice, but the ghastly grin of the Berenice who'll soon be cold in death.
Stop it. Stop smiling.
Dear husband, what is it? You used to tell me my smile captivated you, enslaved you. Can it be that it now repels you? Oh, don't turn away.
I won't look at you, not when you smile.
Don't look then, for all the good it'll do you. You'll remember. Soon I shall be. But my smile will never die. It will live on in your brain, Ernest. Wherever you go, whatever you do, it will be with you.
No.
This smile, this ghoulish grimace, because it was what you married, what you loved, and then came to hate. And you will hate it till the day you die, Ernest. For till that day, awake or asleep, it will haunt you.
Would you care for more of the shrimp, Mr. Lamb?
Well, thank you, no, Constance. Oh, and do call me Anthony, won't you? It'll make me feel so much younger.
If you wish. Ernest, won't you eat? You haven't touched a morsel.
Not hungry.
But you must keep up your strength. If you're not careful, you'll be having nightmares again.
Nightmares, Ernest?
The most horrible you can imagine. Berenice has all but ruined my health. Ruined it.
Hush now, we mustn't talk that way.
What other way is there?
No more wine, Ernest.
Another glass can do no harm.
No more, dear. For my sake.
For your sake, anything. Anything except to lie about my true feelings. You, Constance, you have lived in this house for nearly a year. You know the hell she has made of my life. You know that I could not mourn her passing. And what is more, you know that I love only you.
Ernest, it is not the proper time.
I know, but
Now, you are overwrought. It is not you speaking, but your nerves. Listen to me.
Constance.
My sister lies upstairs dying. Whatever you think of her, in these last days of her life, though we cannot in truth love her, we can, in all dignity and honor, try at least not to hate her. You must try, Ernest. You must.
Yes. And with your help, I shall.
But you will not succeed.
Berenice.
How did you get here, out of bed?
I rang my bell, but no one came. I called, but you did not answer.
We didn't hear.
And so I found the strength, what strength remains, to come down and tell you I am about to die.
No.
When death is near, you know it. Full well you know it. I have little time left now. Perhaps only minutes. A glass of wine.
Of course.
He hurries to assist me, to comfort me, when in his heart he would kill me.
No, Berenice, I would not.
Liar.
Berenice,
you hate me. Say it, you hate me. Say it.
Here, the glass of wine you asked for.
That, your glass of wine. Sniveling, nightmare-ridden fool. I had hoped I'd at last found a man when I married you. But you were like all the others.
Berenice, let me help you back to your
And
bed.
as for you, did you think I wasn't on to you and your little tricks? Did you think me blind, that I couldn't see what went on between you and my husband?
Nothing. Before heaven, I swear that...
Liar! I saw, I know. Little Constance. Innocent, saintly little sister, sinking her claws deeper and deeper into the man who was mine.
Madam,
You address me.
Madam, you are ill, yet there is in you a kind of strength I have recognized before. I say to you, the worst kind of criminal.
Huh? Go on.
I don't know that I can. I have never understood what made these people what they were, but this I know. There are angels on this earth and there are devils. And you, madam, I say it to you, even in your dying moments, you are a devil. I don't blame you for looking at me like that. I spoke on impulse. I'm ashamed.
Ashamed? You are the first man who has ever dared to...
Berenice.
Stay away. Stand back. Don't touch me. Only listen. You will be haunted by the magnet that drew you to me. The weapon with which I ruined your life and will destroy you. My smile, Ernest. My smile.
No.
Look at me. Sensuous lips bearing milk white, perfectly matched teeth. Look.
Here, let me...
She's falling across the table.
I think... Yes. She's gone. Berenice is...
No.
Ernest, don't.
Her mouth. She is staring at me with her teeth. Anthony, in heaven's name, close her mouth. Close her mouth!
I said at the outset, you'll recall, that because of Berenice's smile, a horrible thing happened. What has just happened in the dining room of Mangrove Manor is indeed horrible, but nowhere near as horrible as that which is about to take place. I will return shortly with Act 2.
Inside you're free. Inside you're free after all. You hear freedom spirit like a wild bird's call. Inside you're free. Inside you're free after all. Living free. Living free.
You're driving a car you knew you were going to buy the minute you saw it. Skyhawk. Buick Skyhawk. You just knew a car this streamlined would be easy on gas. And you were right. In published EPA mileage test results, Skyhawk got 25 miles per gallon on the open road and 16 in the city. Buick Skyhawk. Dynamite.
Inside you're free. Inside you're free after all. Living free. Living free. Living free. Hey, Mom, what's for dinner? Hey, Mom, what you got?
We're all starting the new year with a close watch on our budgets. Your ShopRite supermarket is helping with economy dishes that are high in nutrition, low in cost. First cut beef chuck steaks, just 57 cents a pound. Semi-boneless chuck steak or roast, 97 cents a pound. Beef liver, just 57 cents a pound. Pork loin, a 7-rib cut, 77 cents a pound. Dress up your beef dishes with fresh mushrooms, just 79 cents a pound. Throughout the store, you'll find a lot more for a little less at ShopRite.
She loves her family. She wants the best. She does all that she can do. She lets ShopRite do the rest. Hey, Ma, what's for dinner? ShopRite has the answer.
I think it was Sir Winston Churchill who said that when the human brain grabs hold of a thing, a worry, a concern of some sort, an anxiety, it grips that thing as in an iron fist and will not let it go. Clearly, then, this is what has happened to Ernest Montresor, who, even while she was alive, could not get his wife's sneering smile out of his head. And now that she has been placed in the family vault on the estate near Baton Rouge, Louisiana, well, listen.
Ernest. Ernest.
Yes, Anthony, what?
It's more than half an hour since everyone left. Constance and I are getting chilled to the bone here in the vault. Let's go back to the house.
Not till I'm sure the lid of Berenice's casket is nailed tight.
But you are sure.
It's madness, I know, Anthony. But I have the fear that somehow, in some way, she'll get out of her coffin and haunt me.
You're letting your imagination run away with you, Ernest. You're tired, overwrought. My sister is... She'll not get out of her coffin. Come now.
Ernest.
Yes. Let us return to the house.
I'll close and lock the gate.
No, I will. There. She's well nailed down in her coffin. Well locked in, too.
Yes. Now let's...
No, wait.
Good Lord, man, what now?
I must make sure the lock is strong. Sound and strong.
Now, Ernest, dear, that's enough.
Don't tell me what is enough. Don't...
Ernest.
Dearest, what is it? Why are you looking at me with such fear?
Never, Constance. Never so long as you live, smile at me like that again. You look like Berenice.
But, Ernest,
My nerves are shaking. I need a drink. Excuse me.
He's in trouble, Constance. We'd best catch up with him.
But, Anthony...
Nothing to worry about, really. You just upset him a little when you smile.
But that's the point.
What?
I didn't smile. Will you take another brandy, Anthony?
Thank you, no, Constance. As they say, one is as good as more.
I wish Ernest thought so.
Yes, he is drinking a bit too much, though he doesn't show it.
His nerves burn up the spirits quickly. I have never seen him in such a nervous condition, never so exhausted.
Let's hope he's having a good, deep, restful sleep.
Speaking of what is good for Ernest, I hope you'll be able to stay with us a while, Anthony.
I should like to, but I have pressing business in Baton Rouge.
A few days? It would be such a comfort to Ernest.
I'm sure, but the comfort he really needs is what you can give him. Constance, may I speak frankly?
Of course.
In ordinary circumstances, by which I mean had Ernest and Berenice still loved each other, I'd not suggest anything of this sort, but... For all things considered, Constance, I should like to see you marry Ernest as soon as possible.
Berenice not yet cold in her grave, and you?
I do, yes. Constance, you alone can give him the love and the warmth he so desperately needs.
I know, but... Oh, Anthony, whatever she was, Berenice was my sister. How can I, in all conscience, marry her husband within so short a time? It would be an act of indecency.
Oh, no, an act of charity and of love. My dear, no immediate decision is needed. Think about it and should...
No!
What in the name of heaven?
It's Ernest! No! Come, quick!
No! Ernest, merciful Lord, what is it?
Oh, it's you. You, good friend, and Constance. Then it was a dream.
What was, my dearest?
I dreamed that I was awake, that I'd awakened from a sound sleep. It was all so real. I heard the storm outside and saw lightning brighten the room and thought, oh, good, I did manage to sleep and get some rest, and now I've awakened, and...
Yes, and?
And then I saw it, hanging in the darkness of the room, burning bright in the black pitch of night. Saw it.
Gently, my darling, gently now. Saw what?
Her smile. Berenice's smile, her disembodied smile, nothing else. It hung suspended in the dark before my eyes, the lips drawn back, the teeth shining in the blackness.
Oh, Ernest.
And then her teeth, those terrifying white, even teeth, parted as she began to laugh. The most hideous laugh I have heard in all my life. Her mouth, her bodiless mouth, as it laughed, it started coming closer to me. Closer. And I screamed.
Anthony, what's to be done?
We must fetch the doctor, and at once.
Ernest, stop for a bit. Oh, let's rest.
Of course, my dear, of course. Here, let me help you down.
Thank you, Ernest. There's a log over there. Shall we sit?
I would rather stand and hold you.
Oh, you are feeling better. Come, let's sit down.
No, wait.
Ernest?
Please, listen, Constance. Anthony returns to Baton Rouge tomorrow. I had a talk with him this morning. He knows I'm devoted to you and you to me. He urged, not that I needed urging, that I ask you to marry me.
Ernest,
Do say yes, Constance. I beg you. Say you'll marry me.
exactly what I was going to say once you gave me the chance.
You will? You'll marry me?
Oh, I will. Oh, I will.
Constance. Oh, Constance. Let's hurry back and tell Anthony.
Yes, that dear good friend of yours will be relieved to know, I'm sure.
Here, I'll give you a hand up. There.
Oh, Ernest, my horse.
Oh! Oh!
Ernest, he's running away with me.
Anthony, I must go up.
Patience, good friend. The doctor should be down any moment.
But he's been with her for more than an hour. I knew she was seriously injured. I knew at the instant I picked her up.
The way you described it, it was a bad fall.
The horse, running away, for what reason God alone knows, tried to leap a high fence, failed to make it, and came down rolling on Constance as she lay beneath him.
Oh, terrible, terrible. But no sense anticipating the worst. Constance may not be seriously hurt at all.
Constance is dying.
What?
She is dying.
Oh, come now, Ernest. You carry even your nerves too far.
There's something I didn't tell you. When I got to Constance, she was unconscious. I knelt beside her, got my arms under her, raised her, and stood up. I began to carry her to the house. A long distance. I'm not very strong. I tire easily. And so after a short time, I stopped for breath and looked at her. Looked into her face, Anthony.
Yes?
Her eyes were open, and she was smiling. The lips pulled back, the teeth showing. For an instant, she looked like Berenice. For that instant, she was Berenice. Doctor? Doctor, is she...
Don't bother him now, Ernest.
But I can bear no more of this waiting, this interminable waiting. Look at her. So deathly white, scarcely breathing, if at all.
Ernest?
She called my name. Constance. Oh, my own dear Constance.
Hush now. When I am gone...
No, you must not go. You cannot leave me. You cannot.
When I am gone, I say, no longer with you. Remember that it will be only on this earth I am not with you. In spirit, I shall be beside you always.
You are not going to die. You will be at my side, alive and beautiful, and my own dear adored wife.
No, that is not to be. Berenice has seen to that.
Berenice?
She was there. Just before my horse leaped the fence, I did not fancy it. She was there. She stood on the other side of the fence, smiling.
Oh, God in heaven.
And I knew, in the second that I saw her, the second before the horse crashed, I knew that she is a tormented soul, a soul that cannot rest until she has forgiven the sins she committed on earth, the sins she committed against you.
There is no forgiveness for what she did.
There is. It is in your heart, my darling, if you will only search for it and find it.
You are asking me to forgive her?
Yes.
Never. I could never.
You must. You must. For my sake. Will you try? That is all I ask before I leave you, my dearest. Will you try?
I will try.
And I, in another world, will love you for it more than I have ever loved you in this. Kiss me.
Oh, no. No, not if by saying that you tell me the time is near. Not if you tell me that. Yes. Oh, yes. Constance? Constance?
I'm sorry, Ernest. She's gone.
Oh, no.
Leave him to me, Doctor. You have other matters to handle. Come, Ernest. Sit down. Here in this chair. Sit, and I'll pour you a brandy. I know how you feel, but you mustn't go to pieces. Think of what she said, that she will be with you, at your side always.
What good is that if I cannot see her, touch her? What is he doing, the doctor?
What must be done? Closing her eyes, straightening her limbs, placing her hands in repose.
When he is finished, I shall sit with her, Anthony.
Of course.
And not leave her side till we take her to the vault. What's that?
What?
Listen. Someone laughing.
No one is laughing, Ernest.
Berenice. It is Berenice.
Ernest.
She is laughing from the vault. From the vault. You doubt me? Here. I throw wide the window. You hear? You hear?
I hear nothing.
Laughing in triumph. Vicious triumph, because once again she shattered my heart. Laugh, you laugh. But I shall have done with you yet. I shall.
Oh. Doctor, quickly. He's fainted away.
So, in fevered imagination, in the sickened mental state brought on by unbearable grief, Ernest fancies he hears the hideous laughter of Berenice, pursuing him, haunting him, driving him mad in death as she did in life. Or is it fancy? We'll know more about that when I return for Act 3.
Some beer drinkers have funny ideas about beer. They think beer improves with age, like wine. We'll find a brewmaster, though. You'll find a beer drinker who knows better. The Budweiser brewmaster says it all depends on how beer is aged. Just letting beer sit in lagering tanks makes it older, not necessarily better. That even goes for keeping a case around the house for a couple of months. But there is one kind of aging that's good for beer. The Budweiser kind. Beechwood aging. In this kind of aging, something happens. It lets all the flavor of the choicest hops and best barley malt that go into Budweiser get through to you. Sure, it takes more time and trouble to brew Budweiser that way, but brewing beer right does make a difference. Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis.
Scarcely has the breath of life fled the body of his beloved Constance than Ernest Montresor hears, or thinks he hears, the triumphant laughter of his wife Berenice. Even though Ernest's friend and attorney Anthony Lamb did not hear the laughter, can we say the laughter echoed only in Ernest's imagination? If it comes to that, who can say that imagination is not reality? Be that as it may, let us now join Ernest and Anthony in that family vault.
It would seem that you're right, Anthony. Berenice must still be in her coffin. The lid is tightly nailed.
Of course.
But her laughter, so horribly clear.
Ernest, there was no laughter. You imagined it.
No, I heard it. She murdered Constance. She made the horse run away, fall, and kill her. Oh, Anthony, how can I rid myself of Berenice? Can I get rid of her? She was vile, vicious, clever. Clever.
What?
Clever. That's it, clever. We look at this coffin lid. We see it tightly nailed, and so we think she's still there.
But of course she is.
No, don't you see? She was clever enough to nail it shut again after she left it. Here, give me that pry iron.
You're not going to...
I must be sure. I must make absolutely certain she is still in her coffin. Otherwise, I dare not bring Constance here.
Ernest.
Can't you understand? Constance will lie here in the same vault with Berenice. If Berenice has the power to leave her coffin, what might she not do to the sister she hated as she hated me? You see? You understand?
Yes, sir.
So then... There.
Well, are you satisfied?
The body seems not to have moved. She is, no doubt about it. Berenice is...
No question, my friend. You can set your mind at rest.
Anthony, would you nail the lid back on? I want to go to Constance. Be with her until we bring her body here.
Ernest.
Yes, Anthony?
Ernest, it's 2:00 in the morning.
Not for her. Not for Constance. For Constance, there is no time now.
Ernest, please go to bed.
To bed? To dream? Once again to ride a nightmare?
I asked the doctor to give me a sedative for you. Now, if you'll take it...
It will do no good. More harm than good. I've taken them before, and I cannot leave Constance alone. Not to the awful loneliness of death.
I will stay with her.
No. I will. I must.
Ernest, hear me now. You will drive yourself mad if you go on like this. As your friend, I...
What? You heard it? I am not hearing things.
That sigh. It was Constance. And look, Ernest, look.
Color. Her cheeks. Color coming into her cheeks. Pulse. How do you feel for a pulse?
Now, let me...
Yes? Yes?
There is no pulse. And yet, a faint warmth. Her wrist beneath my hand feels... Ernest, I tell you, there is warmth.
Alive. She is alive. Oh, God, God, in your merciful goodness, I thank you. Thank you.
And while you're thanking God, I'll fetch the doctor. Thank you, Doctor. I'm sorry to have put you through all this trouble. Thank you and good night. I'm sorry, Ernest.
Strange. Strange.
Very. There was color in her cheeks, warmth in her body.
Yet by the time the doctor arrived, the warmth had fled. The color vanished. She was once again a corpse. Anthony, what do you make of it?
I cannot say. I don't know. It's one of the most baffling things I've ever seen. But then Mangrove Manor seems alive with strange things.
Not so strange if you had lived a year with Berenice. If you had come to know her as the devil she was.
I begin to believe you. It's 4 a.m, and I've been up. We both have been since early yesterday. There'll be much to do tomorrow, and both of us must get some rest.
No, not I. I will stay with Constance.
All right, Ernest, but be sensible. But take that large armchair in the corner and see if you can at least doze for a time.
Very well.
I'll go to my room for an hour or two of sleep.
All right. And Anthony, thank you for all you've done.
That's nothing. Nothing.
Constance. My lovely Constance. I'll not leave you. I shall be there in that chair across the room. In this chair, Constance, still very near you. Still watching you, waiting with you, through the long silence of death. Again? It was you? Again? You are sitting up. You are leaving the bed and coming toward me. You are not... You live. Oh, let me see your face. I cannot see it. The shadows and burial shroud hiding it from me. Take the burial shroud from your face. Let me see you. Constance, beloved, let me see you. Why do you laugh, my darling? Why? Is it happiness at finding yourself alive? Is it joy in knowing you're not after all? Here, let me take away the shroud. There. The lips wide. The teeth. Berenice. You are Berenice and Constance's body.
No, Ernest, no, it was not a nightmare.
I thought it was. I thought I'd had another horrible dream, that I'd gone to sleep in the chair and dreamed it all.
I might have thought so, too, if I'd only found you lying on the floor unconscious. But, my dear friend, I cannot describe my shock. Constance's body was sprawled across yours.
Constance's body. But Berenice's spirit.
Don't think about it. Put it out of your head.
Impossible. It is etched in acid in my memory. I shall see it in every moment of my life, waking or sleeping. The lips curled back in that fearful sneer. The teeth. The teeth, the terrifying teeth. If only I could blot them from my mind, but I can't.
Perhaps you can. Perhaps there is a way.
What?
If, as you think, Berenice is using Constance's body to haunt you, torment you...
She is.
Then all we need do is what we must do in any case. Bury Constance in the vault.
But of course, I sicken at the thought of placing my own dear lovely Constance in that cold, moldy chamber. And yet it must be done. And with her body locked within the vault, Berenice will be unable to haunt me.
But I must leave, Ernest. I have stayed as long as I can, far longer than I anticipated, and I do have other business, pressing business in Baton Rouge.
The thought of being alone in this huge and empty house, is there no way to persuade you?
I'm sorry, Ernest, but there isn't. I've done all I can for you. You know I have.
Of course I know it. There is no better friend in all the world than you, and I have no right to urge you to stay, none at all. But I am afraid. Afraid to be alone. Afraid. Of all things, it is a madness. Afraid of Berenice's teeth.
I suppose it is a form of madness. Berenice isn't buried. Constance isn't buried, and so Berenice cannot inhabit her corpse to torture you.
She'll find a way.
She will not.
She will. She lies in that vault out there, and in time her body will rot. But teeth do not. And so long as a tooth remains in her skull...
Ernest, it's 10 o'clock. I have a long, hard ride ahead of me tomorrow. I must get to bed, and so must you. We are both very much in need of rest.
Rest. So long as I live, there will never again be any rest for me. What? Berenice, that laugh. Did I hear it or only dream? Open the window and listen. Nothing. A dream, another nightmare. To bed, Ernest, too. But what is this? I'm wet to the skin. My nightclothes are drenched. My feet caked with mud. Oh, wait, it comes back to me now. The dream. The nightmare. Was it a dream or did I? Anthony! I'm coming.
Good Lord, man, what is it now?
Come into my room.
Yes, but what is it? What's happened? Another of your awful nightmares? Well?
I don't know.
You don't know if you had a nightmare or you didn't?
If it was a dream, then that's what it was. But if it wasn't, if I really did the thing I thought I dreamed, then Anthony, I am mad.
What do you mean?
I mean that if I really did it, I've done something so horrible it could only be the work of a madman.
Ernest, what did you do?
I dreamed. Oh, make it a dream. But look at me. My clothes soaked through, my feet muddied. I must have done it.
Done what? What?
I left my bed and went outside to the tool shed.
The tool shed?
And found what I was looking for. And then I went to the vault.
In this storm you went?
Yes, to the vault. I unbolted the gate and went in. And then I pried open Berenice's coffin.
Oh, no.
Yes. There she lay, moldering in death. But the lips drawn back and the teeth, those white, even, perfect, gruesome teeth, exposed. I stared at them, stared in a horror of fascination. And then taking the instrument I brought with me, I did what had to be done to save my sanity.
What? What did you do?
I dare not speak of it, put words to it. Nor can I bear to look.
Look?
To see, was it dream or reality?
Look at what?
When I had done it, I returned here to my room. I placed the instrument on the mantel. In my dream, I placed it there. And though it must be a dream... Please, go to the mantel. See if the instrument is there.
Very well, Ernest. I see nothing here but a pair of pliers.
Oh!
This is the instrument you used in your dream?
No dream. No dream. Can't you understand that now? No dream. The pliers are there. I did it. May a merciful God forgive a madman. I did it. The table. My bedside table. Look there now. Look. They are there.
They're here. On your bedside table. All of them. All of Berenice's teeth.
Well, a toothsome tale, was it not? Something to let your imagination chew on? Sorry, couldn't resist that. Seriously, though, this story, as many another, reflects that certain mystery which has puzzled mankind since the first tick of time. Which is the reality of our lives? Which the dream? You got me. I'll be back shortly.
Murder on the Orient Express is movie magic. The most entertaining evening of the year, cheers Liz Smith of Cosmopolitan. Judith Crist, New York Magazine, claims Agatha Christie's marvelously intricate whodunit becomes a joyous experience, a feast in any season. And Playboy calls it sheer old-fashioned escapism. See Murder on the Orient Express from Paramount Pictures, rated PG, parental guidance suggested.
Murder on the Orient Express is now playing at a theater near you.
Our cast included Norman Rose, Michael Tolan, Joan Lovejoy, and Roberta Maxwell. The entire production was under the direction of Hyman Brown. Radio Mystery Theater was sponsored in part by Buick Motor Division. This is E.G. Marshall inviting you to return to our Mystery Theater for another adventure in the macabre. Until next time, pleasant dreams.
The preceding program was furnished by the Columbia Broadcasting System. Your dial is set for 15 minutes of late news with John Scott reporting. This is WOR New York, an RKO General Station.
11,000 more workers, mostly in the auto industry, are losing their jobs. The National Cancer Institute studying a virus that may cause human cancer. New York City cops must wear name tags beginning Monday morning. The man's is partly cloudy tonight and cooler, the low in the 30s. Sunny and unseasonably mild tomorrow, the high in the low 50s. This is John Scott with the 8 o'clock edition of the news featuring the Financial Review. More layoffs are in the news. Today, more than 11,000 workers, mostly in the auto industry, learned that they would be laid off their jobs indefinitely. General Motors says it will put almost 3,000 employees at its Lordstown, Ohio plant on indefinite layoff beginning January 20th. 3 GM divisions in Indiana also announced layoffs affecting a total of 1,335 employees. In all, GM's indefinite layoffs this month have affected 1/4 of its 370,000 hourly workers in the United States. Chrysler says over 1,000 of the 3,000 workers at its casting division plant in Newcastle, Indiana, will be laid off Monday. 3 major tire companies, Goodyear, Firestone, and Cyberling, announced over 2,000 layoffs. Other companies announcing layoffs include United Airlines. United saying it's furloughing 599 employees and reducing the number of its daily flights because of the economic slump and energy problems. The Labor Department says the government is confident of having 300,000 jobless workers employed in public service jobs by the middle of March. A Labor Department official says the government will have to spend 5 times as much as it's now spending to provide jobs for 1/7 of those now out of work. The official estimates that all levels of government will spend about $17 billion to ease the pains of unemployment. Meanwhile, President Ford reportedly is considering asking Congress to approve a $15 billion rebate on 1974 income taxes. This would reportedly amount to about 10% of the total taxes. The Booth newspapers say Mr. Ford will make the request in a State of the Union message to Congress, coupling it with a proposed tax cut for 1975. The new chairman of the House Ways and Means Committee wants a tax cut for middle and lower income people. Representative Al Oman thinks a cut will help the recession by pumping billions of dollars back into the economy. The Oregon Democrat wants the measure acted on quickly.
I'm going to recommend to the committee that we go into immediate consideration of an emergency tax measure. It's my hope that it will involve immediate relief to individuals in the low and middle income brackets. It will give some corporate relief where it's needed and might very well include part of the energy package and an end of the depletion allowance that we had recommended last year. That's the kind of package I think we can act quickly on. It's my hope we can get it to the floor of Congress by the 1st of March and get it passed by the House and then over to the other body where they can move on it hopefully very expeditiously and hopefully limiting it to the emergency measures, non-structural measures that will feed revenues back into the economy, which is the whole purpose of the bill.
Major northeastern sugar refiners cut the price of their industrial sugars by more than $3.50 a hundredweight today. The price cuts by CPC International, Amstar, Sucrest, and the National Sugar Refining Company are the first since December 13th. The Food and Drug Administration has extended its restrictions on the use of saccharin. This came after the FDA received a new scientific report which failed to establish the safety of the artificial sweetener. Since February 1972, the FDA has restricted the average adult's intake of saccharin to 1 gram a day. The FDA says it will take several months to complete more exhaustive tests. The National Cancer Institute is trying to determine whether a virus isolated at the institute is a human cancer virus. The virus was discovered in blood cells originally taken from a victim of a rare but lethal form of leukemia. The institute is studying the virus to determine whether the virus is of human origin and not a contaminant from an animal. A White House spokesman says President Ford is giving intensive consideration to South Vietnam's request for additional U.S. funds. Presidential spokesman Ron Nessen says Mr. Ford feels the amount of aid voted by Congress to both South Vietnam and Cambodia is inadequate. Nessen said the president's concern relates to what he feels is necessary to allow the South Vietnamese adequately to defend themselves. Nessen wouldn't say how much extra aid the president might seek. Senate Majority Leader Mike Mansfield said he's opposed to any additional aid for South Vietnam or Cambodia, and the Montana Democrat adds that such a proposal would probably meet vigorous resistance in Congress. Former President Nixon celebrated his 62nd birthday today at his San Clemente, California estate. Mr. Nixon, recuperating from surgery for a blood clot in his left leg, spent the day quietly with his wife, Pat. The WOR News Time. It's 5 minutes past 8. Food shoppers, by this time, one of your New Year resolutions should be to save on your weekly food bill, and the place to do that is at any nearby Bohack or Village supermarket. Here are some examples of real savings for you. USDA choice beef, top or bottom round roast for a low $1.29 a pound. You'll also find a pork loin sale. The rib end is just a low 79 cents a pound. And here's a special price reduction. USDA grade A large white eggs, only 79 cents a dozen. And with any additional $5 purchase and coupons, you can save on all of the following. Wesson oil, the gallon jug, only $4.79. Scott towels, the jumbo roll, just 29 cents. Hunt's tomato sauce, the 8-ounce can, just 5 cents. And Pillsbury Ballard biscuits, the 8-ounce size, just 7 cents. So remember, in 1975, the place to save is at any nearby Bohack or Village supermarket, where you'll find an abundance of quality foods at old-fashioned prices. The federal government has found appalling conditions in some local nursing homes. The Department of Health, Education, and Welfare says it will no longer support nursing homes that don't meet federal requirements. HEW says it will cut off federal Medicaid funds to 5 homes in the city and 9 in New York State. It's part of a new federal policy. Assistant HEW Administrator Peter Franklin explains.
Where the nursing home has a provider agreement and is providing services under the Medicaid program, and we go in as the federal government and find that this home does not meet the conditions of participation established by federal regulation under Medicaid, we will notify the state, be it New York or any other state in the union, these are national regulations, that we are terminating the federal financial participation, the 50 cents on the dollar, to this nursing home through the state. And this is very major. This will assure that the taxpayers' funds will not be used to support unfit care.
Governor Carey will name a special prosecutor to investigate alleged Medicaid fraud in the nursing home industry in a day or two. Informed sources said that those being given strongest consideration for the post were Special State Prosecutor Maurice Najari and Joseph Hines, First Assistant to Brooklyn District Attorney Eugene Gold. Also reported to be under consideration was Morris Abram, former president of Brandeis University. This just in, former Brooklyn Congressman Bertram L. Podell, a state and federal lawmaker for 20 years, was sentenced tonight to 6 months in jail and fined $5,000 for using his influence as a Democratic congressman in an effort to obtain a Bahamas route for a Florida air taxi service. The Long Island Lighting Company, Lilco, now has the authorization to boost electric rates for the second time in a year. The State Public Service Commission has approved the latest rate increase, which would yield $35,600,000 a year for Lilco. Together with the interim rates in effect since last June, the utility would receive $64,300,000. The director of meat purchases for the Waldbaum supermarket chain has pleaded guilty in federal court to receiving kickbacks from wholesale suppliers. Without opposition from the U.S. Attorney's Office, 51-year-old Barnett Friedman was allowed to plead guilty to one count of receiving over $4,500 in kickbacks during 1972. Now, we'll have the weather and the top of the news in brief right after this. General Tire doesn't claim its tire experts have all the answers, but they can tell you just about everything you want to know about tires. And that's important with so many new kinds of tires coming out and so many different claims about those tires. The General Tire specialist is trained to analyze what tire fits your driving habits, your car, your budget. And the General Tire specialist can handle your automotive service needs, too. He's one of the best reasons why, sooner or later, you'll own Generals. Check your yellow pages for the General Tire headquarters nearest you. Here's the Weather Watch update for New York City and the vicinity. Mostly cloudy and partly cloudy tonight. And cooler with a low in the middle 30s. Sunny and unseasonably mild tomorrow with a high in the low 50s. Increasing cloudiness tomorrow night, the low near 40. Cloudy on Saturday with a chance of rain developing in the day, the high in the low 50s. Right now in clear mid-Manhattan, it's 42 degrees. The humidity 79%, the wind northeast at 5 miles an hour, and the barometer is rising from 30.09 inches. And the top stories, more than 11,000 workers, mostly in the auto industry, are being laid off their jobs indefinitely. The Labor Department says the government expects to have about 300,000 unemployed workers on public service job payrolls by March. A White House spokesman says President Ford is giving intensive consideration to more aid for both South Vietnam and Cambodia. The National Cancer Institute is studying a virus isolated in its laboratories to see if it's a human cancer virus. New York City cops must wear name tags beginning Monday morning. And that, friends, is the 8 o'clock edition of the news. This is John Scott reporting, bidding you good night. Next news as it happens, next scheduled news at 9 over WOR Radio 710, The Talk of New York with Lester Smith. Now be sure to stay tuned for Barry Farber, coming up next over WOR New York and RKO General Station.